There are few things in life that can truly bring us together. Few things that can lift us to our feet and bring us to our knees. Few things that can be analyzed, internalized, socialized, even spiritualized. It gives us identity. It gives us purpose. It makes us believe. There's nothing better. To the sickos, the diehards, the supporters, the hooligans, to the rowdiest, the most obsessed, the fans. For us and all those like us, it will always be sports over everything.
I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Live from the Xfinity Studio! Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Wednesday to all. We're getting closer to Sunday, 4:30. Oh, Fox, Lincoln Financial Field. Oh, wild card weekend, almost here. So I was talking to a buddy of mine who runs the San Francisco sports station. In fact, he's a great guy named Matt Nahagian. Matt used to run the Fanatic. And Matt and I go way back. So Matt now runs the station in San Francisco where the Niners, actually their radio partner. And so I'm talking to him last night. We're talking about the game. And he's like, dude, I go, well, how do you feel from a Bay Area perspective? And what's the vibe? So the vibe is that their defense can't win. So they come in, at least from their town perspective, with very little hope because that defense, it's just got no teeth to it. We've talked the last couple days about how the Niners have no pass rush. And if you look at it, their three levels are problems, right? Their front can't get a pass rush. Their best pass rusher is Bryce Huff. I mean, that's right. That Bryce Huff is their best pass rusher. At linebacker, they had Fred Warner, who was the all-world. They're hoping that if they advance, they'll come back at some point. Fred is an incredible player. There's a kid, Bethune, who had filled in for him and played really well. Well, now he's hurt. So their linebacking core is not good. And then their secondary is toast. This is a certified bad defense. It's up to Robert Saleh, the Niners DC, to just kind of make lemonade out of it, right? And not get skewered. This is the perfect tonic for the Eagles to make a run. This is the perfect tonic for the Eagles to get well offensively. We've been talking about it all year, right? Identity, doing what they got to do. We've seen bits and pieces. We've seen Jalen under center. We've seen little things, like little glimmers of hope. And my hope for Sunday is that this offense can get finally, after a season of ups and downs and looking good for a half and looking terrible for a half, right? That it finally could put it together. And it gets its confidence by facing this Niners defense. That's my narrative. That they finally get well. And here's what they're going to do. You're going to see a lot more Jalen on the center. You're going to see when Jalen's in shotgun and they're in pistol, that he's going to be part of the run game. That, look, you saved him. He's upright. He's healthy. And now he could be part of the run game. This is it. Let's go. Now, I don't believe Lane will be ready to go on Sunday. We'll see. It's early. But from everything I'm hearing, I just don't believe he's going to play. And again, it's still Wednesday, and that dude is superhuman, right? Like, you know, he's as close to a superhero as we have in Philadelphia. So, you know, nothing's out of the question. I just don't think he plays. Now, if he doesn't play, I think you got to throw it. I said it Monday. I said it yesterday, that I think you got to throw it. Now, that doesn't mean throwing 40 times, right? But it does mean that you're going to have to throw to set up the run. And that means you're going to have to get the ball down the field, get the ball out, and incorporate. When I'm talking about the pass game, I'm also incorporating Jalen in the run game, right? So while it's designed runs for him, move the pocket for him, get creative with him, and let him throw it. And I think this is a Jalen Hurts game. All this talk about the quarterback, right? We've talked about him forever. Since he got the job, we've talked about Jalen. To me, I put the game in his hands. Against this defense, knowing that you can now deploy him in the run game, it's the playoffs, it's, you know, like win or go home, let him run, let him throw. He's not going to get pressured. He's going to feel good about himself. He's going to get confidence. He's going to be able to sling it. And I this is how I would approach Sunday. Because if you get Jalen hot and get this offense hot, this defense is great. Eagles defense, I'm not worried about it. Do I think San Francisco will score? Yeah, I think they'll put up, you know, anywhere between 13 and 17 points, which should be good enough to win any game. I think this defense is really good. You know, could it even hold them to under 10 like Seattle? Yeah, it could do that. But let's take averages. And averages go against a really good, with this defense, against a really good offense. It's going to have Trent Williams back and Pearsall back. I think, you know, 17 is a realistic number. That means the Eagles got to come up with anywhere between 20 and 24. And I think this offense against that depleted defense should be able to do that. And I go, Jalen, here's the ball, baby. You know, Super Bowl MVP, all the wins that you have. Here you go, baby. Lead us. And that's where I'm at. And you'll know everything that you need to know. Because I put the game in his hands. And I think he wins. I think he has a knack for showing up in games like this. In the playoffs, he's a money guy. You know it. You know the one thing is he's not a lumper, right? That he shows up in big games. And I just think the matchup is good for him. You know, if they had a rush, I'd be a little concerned about doing that. But they don't have a pass rush. And I think it's going to work to his advantage in a big way. So let's go. It's a Jalen game. Lead us into the second round. Good morning, VG.
Let's go. The Niners signed Kaiser White.
Remember Kaiser White?
Yeah.
He was here for a minute. Had a cup of Wawa coffee here.
Yeah. Eric Kendricks. Come on. I mean, I'm feeling really good. I've been a little weary of the Niners, but the way it's played out right now, Baldy saying it's going to come down to turnovers and field goals. I feel good about turnovers. That's their specialty. If it's going to come down to turnovers,
well, I was talking to my buddy, the chapter and verse about this Niners team and really their Niners defense.
Yeah.
And there's heavy concern. Heavy.
I don't think so.
Heavy concern.
Their
And
linebackers they haven't been on the team a month and a half ago.
right.
Yeah.
So between that and if to me, you get Jalen you throw to open up the run.
All right.
And when I say that also includes Jalen's legs.
Well, I like Jalen's over-unders right around 35. It's Juice is on the over. If he gets 40 yards rushing, I feel good about that, man.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I do too, because I think it's going to open stuff up.
Saquon.
I think he's going to be able. See, I give it to Saquon in his second half, right? Like, I want to salt it away. I want to throw early. This was an old Andy Reid recipe, which is throw early and hand it to the run game. I think that defense is made for you.
I'm with you with the throwing early. I would really have Saquon out of the backfield against these linebackers and Goddard. They should have huge games receiving. Like, their linebacker core is ridiculous right now.
Well,
ridiculously bad.
You bring up Goddard, and I smell a Goddard game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think this offense is going to put up in the mid-20s. I do. I think this offense is going to score.
I think they got to score 21.
I would be listen, if they can't get it going against that defense, then they're not winning.
Yeah,
that's the truth.
They're in desperate trouble.
The truth is, if you can't put up, right? If you can't, you should be able to win this game, because I think you have a distinct advantage offensively. You have a great defense. Even though the Niners' offense is good, you got a great defense, and I think this offense can get up. Think about how good it would be going into the Chicago. Say Chicago beats Green Bay. I think it's a coin flip game, but say Chicago wins, and you got to go into Chicago in the Soldier Field next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Coming off of a really good offensive game, and I think Lane, if he doesn't play Sunday, will be ready for the Chicago game. Now I go, all right, I got Lane coming back. All right, I feel good offensively, and it's a revenge game. They're not going to be fooled by the misdirection that Ben Johnson used on the Black Friday game.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go, NFC Championship game.
Yeah, I am not afraid of the Bears. The Bears are not a concern of mine. My two concerns are Niners offense and the Rams. Other than that, I'm not even worried about the Seahawks. So the Bears don't scare me. The Packers don't scare me. So it should be NFC Championship. If they get past this game, it should be NFC Championship.
Yeah. And then listen.
Yeah.
Then it all schools out. Like, who knows? Like, maybe the Rams beat Seattle.
Yeah.
And
could be here.
And we're hosting.
Right.
Yeah. And even if not, like, all right, let's go. We're in the championship game.
Yeah. This is just one of those opponents where, I don't know, it's like a boxing match. Like, they got the punch. If they hit you with that offense is a good, like, right hook. If they get it going and score 24 points, it's going to be trouble. But I believe this defense can hold them to under 20. 20 or under.
Yeah.
I think that's the number.
Yeah.
You're at 17. Frankie the mailman, I was with him yesterday. He's like, they're going to have to get up 24-28 to beat this team. So
Frankie, how's Frankie doing? It's my
he's
man.
good. I know. Yeah. He always reminds me every time I see him.
Yeah. Frankie's my boy. Frankie the mailman's classic.
He sees every game. He's an usher down there still.
Yeah, he's the greatest. He's the greatest. Yeah, but I look at it, and I said Monday, I said 20. I've been like vacillating
you're creeping
between
down.
17, 20. Wherever it is, it's, again, I think you score 23, you win the game.
No, I would agree with that.
I gave you that number on Monday, that you circle 23 as the number.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Eagles can get to 23.
I would feel good about that. I love the number. The number's up to 4.5 right now.
Is it really?
Yeah, it started at 2.5.
All right.
4.5.
All right, Bet Parks.
Yeah, it might be a touchdown win.
Yeah.
You might be looking at 23-16.
I like it, man. Yeah. I like it. It's funny. We had a game last night, and my buddy.
Basketball?
Yeah, basketball. Shout out to my kids. They showed up in a big
way.
because
you dug in their butt the other day.
Yes. Yeah. They showed up in a big way. They played really good basketball last night.
Was it a decent team?
Yeah, very good. Very well coached.
All right.
Good team.
So they won.
Yeah, Coach Mark is a good coach.
Does regular season start?
Yeah. This is our third game. We're 2-1.
Oh, all right. Yeah. No, 2-1. You're acting like they're the bad news Bears, like they're 0-3 the way you were talking.
We had bad practices. We came off a bad loss.
Yeah.
And we finally had a good practice Monday night, and the kids showed up. My boy Miller was a stud underneath.
Yeah?
Yeah, Maslow played well.
I stuck it to you.
Yeah, he played well. I'm proud of him. Played great defense. Hit a couple threes.
Oh.
Yeah. He played well. Nice. I was proud of him. But anyway, so Coach Kelly, my boy, we coached last year together. You met Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin played baseball at Duke. And he's coaching the JV, the 5th and 6th grade. So I see him last night. He goes, I don't have a good feeling. I was like, I don't know, dude. I do have a good feeling. I really do. I have a good feeling. He's like, I don't know. And we're kind of talking through it. And I keep going back to that defense. And I go to that defense. And I would love, and it's why I want to give Jalen, I want to put the game in his hands. Because I think he's going to show up big time. I think he's going to have a monster game.
He usually comes through in games like this. He's a bright lights kind of guy.
I think he has a monster game.
I mean, some people may say you're delusional coming off a game with no completions in the second half and no first downs.
I mean, listen, every game is its own entity.
Yeah, of course.
But again, I'm basing a lot off the matchup and how, like, we know what gives this offense trouble. What gives this offense trouble is a team that can pressure the quarterback, right? Yeah. Like, if they can't run and their line gets pushed back, that's why this offense stalls. And you don't have that in San Francisco.
Dude, they'd be better off if they signed Charles Haley right now. He's probably better than anyone they have. Yeah. I mean, they're brutal. Like, it's amazing.
Bryce Huff.
And it's not like, I mean, they lost two major components, but
they lose Bosa and they lost Fred Warner.
I know, but the rest of the team is like junk. I mean, there's no depth at this team at all. On the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, but I mean, here you go. You see it right here. I mean, like, you want to talk about it. I mean, that's a huge deal.
Nick Martin must have more than a concussion going on, right? He's been out like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm looking now, too. I'm digging into the Vegas numbers. The line's going the Eagles' way. 75% of the money and bets are on the Niners. So that's Vegas is like, some sharp money. That 22% of the money coming in the Eagles is some sharp money.
That's the Brain money.
That is Brain money.
Brain loved the Eagles.
He got in on them early, like 2.5, I think he said.
Yeah, Brain loved the Eagles. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do too, man. I'm as the week is going on. I mean, I felt good on Monday. I felt better on Tuesday, and I feel great today.
I feel good. I'm not great yet, but I'll get there by Friday.
I feel great,
I'll get there.
Because here's what I
haven't had a beer in 2 days, so I'm a little weird.
What, dry January for you?
I'm just trying to get it to
dry
focused.
First week of January?
A couple days. Dry 48 hours. Come on.
Here's the deal. And I feel pretty good about this. Like, I believe they're going to win. I believe they're going to look good offensively. And if they don't, then they have no shot. I mean, that's it. Like, it's one or the other. Like,
so if they win 13-10, you think they got no shot?
No, if they can't put up 20 against this team,
right?
I don't think they can get through. Like, they could still beat Chicago, but I wouldn't feel good about going to Seattle or the Rams coming here.
Right. They're not going to see a defense as bad as this the rest of the way.
No, I need them to flex offensively. Like, I do. And this is where, you got to hope that Patullo and Sirianni, that what they're doing, like, again, you got to look hard. I mean, you got to look under a microscope, right? Yeah. But the little wrinkles that we saw in losses that were positives, they now need to put all those little pieces together and have a real good offensive showing.
Consistent for an entire game.
Yeah.
You don't go put up 17 points quick and then turtle up.
What I would love to see, this is my dream scenario. What I would love to see is they throw early, Jalen's running with the ball, they put up numbers, right? They're leading, and then midway through the fourth quarter, they're up, 7 to 10 points. Mm-hmm. And then Saquon right, Saquon left, Saquon breaks it, and fourth quarter is sweatless.
All right. My ideal dream scenario would be first series, Saquon breaks one for 75 as a touchdown.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right.
I hear you. I think it's important for the pass game to really get well and get going.
Yeah, just get going would be good.
Yeah, I think it has. I think it has to be.
Yes.
I hear what people say. Oh, just run. They haven't been able to run. And here's the thing: there's going to be no.
But these linebackers are terrible. They're playing.
It doesn't matter. You have a line that has not been able to dominate the line of scrimmage.
Just feels like one
Steen hasn't done. Steen's a better pass blocker than he is a run blocker, right?
Yeah.
Fred is a better pass blocker than he is a run blocker.
What I think is a wild card.
Jergens and Dickerson have not been able to get push.
I think what is a blessing in disguise is Calcaterra being banged up. I think you're going to see more Latu, and I think that really helps the run game. I think that'll be an improvement. So
Yeah, but you don't. Again, your line's not what it's a shell of what it was last year.
I totally get that.
So that's why you got to throw it. And again, you're going to have time, right? You're going to have time. Jalen's going to have time.
I mean, yeah, hopefully. I mean, maybe Salah puts up a bunch of blitz packages. Who knows? But we'll see. You know,
Again,
I'm fascinated to see this.
They haven't been able to get pressure, so
I'm fascinated to see the whole matchup, how it works out. Like,
I have a really good feel of it.
You have it's like a great offense versus a great defense, and then I don't know. It's fascinating to me to see what the chess play is going to be.
Yeah, I have a real good feel about it. All right, let's take care of some business, and we got a fun show for you as always. EJ will join us. We'll get the latest on Lane, what he's hearing down at NovaCare. Charlie O will join us.
Big game last night.
5-2 over the Ducks. And salute to the Flyer fans that forced Anaheim to shut off the comments on its social media and Instagram page. Way to go, Flyer fans. Zegras, 2 goals early against his old team.
Take it for a beat.
Fly guys rolling, baby. So we'll talk to Charlie O coming up. And our good friend, Mike Sielski, will join us coming up at 10. And at 10:30, he's calling the game. He and Tom, Kevin Burkhardt, one of the great play-by-play guys, the A-team with Fox. He's going to join us coming up at 10:30. So lots to do as always. But let's talk about some business, right? Let's talk about the Parks, the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app. You heard VG say it. It's now 4.5. All right? I love it. I love the Eagles. Get in now. I think that line just climbs and climbs and climbs. What's the team total? Can you look at...
I can't find a team total yet.
I'm curious what the Eagles team... What is the total for the game?
The total, it's moved down a little. I think it's 44.5. I think it was 46.5. Now it's 44.5.
44.5, which means the team total is probably somewhere around 22. I gave you the number 23. I like the Eagles over team total.
All right.
Like I like that. Hey, the 5 days of football, the 5 great days of football coming up, beginning with the 2 college football playoff games, all kinds of stuff. Make sure you're in on the action. BetParks.com has all the details. There's always another way to win. All the casino games, you name it. All right? You got to be 21. You got to be in PA, New Jersey, Maryland. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, everyone's got their favorite hard tea. Well, let's talk about our friends at Crooked Tea. Because have you ever tried to turn the can over of your favorite hard tea and see what's inside it? You really can't. And you know why? You can't because they don't tell you. They actually hide from what's inside their tea. Crooked Tea, they're totally different. They brag about it. You know why? Because Crooked Tea, they use real USDA organic tea for real flavor with 0 sugar. There's no fake junk hiding behind the label. They got it right there for you. What you see, well, that's what you drink. So next time you're at the store, try it. Flip the can over. If you can't find the ingredients, do yourself a favor, put it back. You don't want it. You don't want to put that inside you. Then grab a Crooked Tea because it's 0 sugar, real tea, and fully transparent. You know what, Philly? Real recognizes real, so why drink the fake stuff? Crooked Tea. The only thing better is a strip sack in the Super Bowl. Visit crookedtea.com and find a store near you.
All right, now time for the big deal. And the big deal, of course, is Wild Card Weekend. Big deal brought to us by Wawa. Now, joining us, our man covers the birds for PHLY. Nobody does it better. E.J. Smith on the Xfinity mobile call-in line. Good morning, EJ. Where are you?
Can you guys hear me at least?
We can hear you, and now we can see
there
you.
he is.
Very good.
What's going on, fellas?
What do you say, my brother?
Happy Wednesday.
Yeah,
I'm doing
man.
well. I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm excited to get back to the NovaCare complex today. Find out what's going on with the team. Yeah, obviously a big week coming up.
So I don't know if you heard our opening and kind of how I'm seeing this game. To me, it's a Jalen game. It's throw to open up the run. There's a defense that has very little pass rush, very little teeth. I think this is the defense that is built for Jalen. Get Jalen's legs in the game. Get Goddard. All right, down the field to AJ and Devontae. I think it's a good recipe for the Eagles.
Yeah, no, I think that there's one of two paths for the Eagles offense where I could see us talking about, it's the reason why they turned it around. I think Jalen is first and foremost on that list. I was going through some numbers last night. The Eagles are undefeated when Jalen has a positive scramble EPA. So when he creates, as we're talking about his legs here, if he can create out of structure, I think that we've really seen that can kind of make up for some of the sequencing issues we've seen from the Eagles offense and the run game in particular. And then also going through it, no quarterback in the NFL has more rushing yards on design runs than Jalen since 2021. And I think that has been something we've spent a lot of time talking about this season, the absence of the quarterback inclusive run game at times this year. And I think, honestly, I feel like I've been like the boy who cried wolf on this show at times this year, saying like this is when they're going to finally break it out. I think it's now or never. I think at this point you have to cut it loose. He's healthy for the first time in his career going into the postseason, and I think that really opens the door for them to start including him in the run game out of shotgun a lot more. So no, I do. I think that there's a real path here for Jalen to elevate in the postseason, and it's something he's done every year. You mentioned it earlier. He has been a big game player really ever since he got benched in college. It seems like that really defined him and really made him ready for these types of moments. And I think that this is going to be another one coming up on Sunday.
Yeah, you and I see it the same way. I mean, I was talking to a buddy of mine in San Francisco last night, and he's like, dude, this defense is, you got nothing. I mean, Bryce Huff is their best pass rusher. You got three guys off the street playing linebacker. You got a bad secondary. I mean, it's here. Here you go, buddy. Here you go, Jalen. Bring us home.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I could see a game where the Eagles' run game gets going, and the conversation is the week of rest for the offensive line is also a big point of conversation. But I don't know. I think it really should. I think it has to revolve around Jalen. We've seen the run game enough this year to know that it's not all of a sudden going to be the thing that keeps you on schedule. I'm with you. I think it's got to be Jalen in a big game. You get that version of him in a big game.
So let's dissect this for a second. The O-line, Steen is just not effective in the run game. He's okay in the run game, right? Not exceptional. He's actually I think he's a good pass protector. He's good in the pass game.
He's more of a finesse player than a power player. He's not Mekhi Becton. He's not blowing guys off the ball. He's not like I said, he's not displacing people at the line of scrimmage.
And I don't think Lane plays. Again, that's just a guess. That would mean Fred, and I think Fred is a better pass blocker.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I'm with you. I heard what Baldy said on the show yesterday. The sense I get is it's definitely not a foregone conclusion that he's going to play. I think he'll practice this week, test it out. But I've been saying it the last couple of weeks, like this is a tricky injury. Most guys would have gotten the surgery and shut it down. I think it's a testament to his toughness that he's trying to play through it. But yeah, it's not a foregone conclusion that he's going to be able to get through this or play through it this week. So
yeah, it's a tough injury, man. Right. It's a nasty injury, it's a tough injury for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And listen, like with Lane, I think it proved we've seen Lane play through enough injuries to know if it wasn't difficult to get through it, he'd play through it. He's earned the benefit of the doubt on that one. So yeah, I think he'll practice today, but we'll see if he has enough confidence in it and if they feel good enough about it at the end of the week. I wouldn't be optimistic.
EJ, our boy Cam Latu, he going to get some playing time this week?
Yeah, he should, right? Especially if Grant Calcaterra's out here. And honestly, I heard what you said. I think it's true. It's like, it might be you never want to wish for somebody's injury, but I think Cam Latu as that blocking tight end in some of those heavy personnel packages just makes more sense. And it also, I could see Kevin Patullo really like leaning into the versatility. Like we've seen Dallas Goedert playing fullback at times this year, and the reason is you kind of want to give different looks in the huddle, and then kind of surprise them on where guys line up. And Cam Latu's got that versatility already. So I think it would make sense. It's a little bit of a revenge game for him. He was a 49ers draft pick, so yeah, it might be an opportunity for him to make a difference there.
I'm liking it. I think he's going to be effective out there. He likes to hit people and block.
Yeah,
he's like a playoff. You want him in the playoffs, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean he's had some mistakes, some missed assignments. I'll be the first one to say that, but at the same time, you just need like that intensity. He's got that. He calls it controlled chaos. You need that sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I think needs to happen though is, again, we talked about you throw to open up the run game, and like I could see Saquon breaking one in the second half, early fourth quarter. That's when I could see him taking one to the house.
Yeah, the thing with me is that obviously the 49ers linebacking core is really depleted, and you'd expect the Eagles to take advantage of those matchups. But to me, like that's where the chess match is really going to be, because we've seen all season that defensive coordinators have had to get creative to try and keep the Eagles offensive linemen from getting to that second level, and being able to really get those second level blocks that can spring explosive runs. So I think obviously the 49ers know they're going to have to insulate their linebackers at times. Now I'm not saying the Eagles shouldn't be able to take advantage, but that's where it does kind of come down to a Kevin Patullo design an element. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm fully confident that they're going to be able to get those answers and get to that linebacking core. So, and Kevin Patullo talked about it a little bit yesterday, not wanting to chase matchups, not wanting to chase, some of those advantages that they might have on paper. But again, at the same time, like you see that linebacking core, they have to figure out ways to exploit it.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up the box score from last week. And, again, what I think needs to happen, because when you look at what Seattle did, I mean, they only scored 13 points. And, they tried, they ran it, they had success in the second half running the football. Early on, though, like they had chances. They were knocking on the door in the red zone, and they couldn't score. I think Saleh, you talk about a chess match, I think Robert Saleh is going to deploy a lot of run blitzes. I think he's going to look to take Saquon out and go, hey, Jalen, beat me. Because that's been a lot of – I've talked to DCs around the league, and I think that's how they deploy it against Jalen.
Yeah, no, I think that early downs, especially if the Eagles are not creative, if it is a lot of run first to open up drives, Robert Saleh is going to be able to key in on that. And, if you look at the 49ers, their advanced metrics, they're good on first down and they're really good in the red zone. So to me, in the red zone, that's good on good with the Eagles offense. On first down, that would be, if you told me that the Eagles struggled offensively, that would be my guess. We've heard so much from Kevin Patullo about first down. I don't necessarily put as much stock into I don't think that them falling behind the sticks is the reason that they're bad offensively. I think them falling behind the sticks is the reason that it looks so bad schematically. It seems like something that they don't feel confident overcoming is when, they're in those second and third and long situations. So yeah, I think that you're right. I think you're totally right. Like they have to be able to throw in neutral passing situations, throw on early downs, and kind of be able to punish the 49ers if they do key in on the run game on those downs, because it has been predictable at times for the Eagles offense in those situations. And you can't do that against good defensive coordinators.
How do you feel about Patullo heading into this? First playoff game, right? It's this Patullo-Sirianni thing. How are we feeling? Like you talk about chess match.
Terrible.
It's funny. I've heard him talk every week, and, I really, the thing that stands out to me is this question that comes up from his press conferences a lot, which is that he frames it as they do whatever it takes to win, right? Each week that it can look different because they care about winning as the bottom line. But I think it's fair to say that the Eagles offense hasn't really played winning football in the recent memory since the bye week. And the thing that concerns me is that Like they have these big swings. One week it's the under center week. One week it's, they're heavy in empty packages to try and take advantage of something they saw on tape. And it really like makes the margin for error a lot thinner if you're really banking on Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni getting it right each week. They don't have the one thing that they're going to be able to lean on. And I think going into the playoffs, I think that's why we're talking so much about Jalen, is because it's like he might just be the identity. It might be a lay it at the feet of a dynamic quarterback and try and score 24 points that way. And I think that they're good enough to win games that way. So when you ask me about Patullo, it's like I don't mean this like to be disparaging, but it is a little bit like just get out of the way of the talented players a little bit.
Yes.
It's like let the
Dude,
talented
I
players.
agree. I think all three of us agree, and I think the chat would agree that it's let your players play, let them win the game for you. I completely agree. Like again, I just look at it and I go, I got Saquon, I got Goddard, and I got two beasts on the outside.
Yeah.
That should be enough to put up 23 if I'm calling plays.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be like, it doesn't have to be sexy where it's like, oh, well, we found this thing on tape. They did this in week 12 and we ran this play. Like, obviously, coaches love that stuff, but they haven't been consistent enough with it for me to feel like that is the formula. I think it's got to be, and it's something that Nick's done his whole time here, right? Simplify the offense, let your stars be the focal point. I think that's got to be the approach in the playoffs. If you're telling me that they've got something that they're rolling out that they haven't really rolled out and it's not Jalen in the run game, like, to me, I'd be concerned about that.
Hey, EJ, Eddie Wright in the chat makes a good comment. Everyone nationally says it's a really simplistic offense, the routes they run. So if it's so simple, why is it so long and complicated to get their plays in?
It's a great question. Yeah, I think that there's some verbiage elements to that. I know that obviously Kellen Moore comes from the West Coast system, and they've kind of kept that verbiage since he left. I think that, even with Nick, I think that that's an element to it. And I think that there's a lot of moving pieces. I think it's funny, like in the post-Kelsey world, obviously Jalen sets the protections, but you see how many of the different prominent members of the Eagles offense, whether it's Jalen, Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata, the wide receivers, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith in particular, they're all gesturing before the snap. You see so much directing traffic before the snap. And I think it really does have an influence. When you watch the game against the Commanders with the backups in, they didn't have as many, calls, obviously. They didn't have as many, kill calls or, trying to get to the perfect call. And I think that is something that's been a real issue for them, is just trying to get to the perfect call and the verbiage, like Cuz said, that kind of precedes that to get it to the line of scrimmage with a plan.
And one of the things that's been pointed out is the fact that it takes so long that you're snapping a ball, right at the end of the play clock, which allows the defense to get off.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the biggest issue, is that the defensive line can time the snap. The other issue is that sometimes when they get to the ball late, you don't have time to react to what the defense is showing you. And then sometimes you're running into loaded boxes, or you're just running a play that's not designed for the coverage that you're going to end up getting. You're not giving Jalen enough time to diagnose. But I just think in general, like that process is it's probably an off-season fix, right? It's like they've been trying to fix it all year, and it just has not worked for them.
What they don't lean into enough, and I've been talking about it all year. Talking about broken record is tempo, and I don't know that with the way their system is that you can run enough tempo. Like I watch other teams. Like I watch the whole league, and look at Sunday night. Look at Aaron Rodgers. He's at the line of scrimmage. There's 15 seconds. He's dissecting it right there, and he can snap it at any point inside 10 seconds.
Yeah, no, and especially Jalen's talked about rhythm so much this year, and that is an easy way to get into a rhythm. And I think, the other thing that stands out hearing from guys about tempo all year is like it's one of the few times that they dictate to the defense, like this is the look you're going to be in and this is the look we're going to be in. So I think it leans into what we've been talking about, some of the nature of like the overthinking of trying to get to the perfect call against different things.
Dude, you nailed it. You nailed this.
Yeah.
You nailed it. And this is my biggest gripe with this season in offense is that they're counterpunch. Sirianni and Patullo are counterpunchers, right? They're not, I'm going to dictate, I'm going to go out and punch, right? Last year, it was Saquon right, Saquon left. Like they didn't, that was their, that was their punch, right? But now they need to counterpunch all the time. I hate that. Go
Yeah,
out
and
and dictate to the defense what you want to do.
Right, and I think the best versions of this Eagles offense have done that. Now, I think you could argue that they've stumbled into those answers and finding out what it is that what their haymaker is, I guess maybe what their jab is, for the boxing analogy here, what they can really, set everything else up with. The RPO game stood out one year, the run game, obviously. They never really found it this year, but I don't think that that's necessarily a formula where it's like every week you got to come up with something different. I don't know. That's why the last month we've all been talking about, can they find something? Whether we've talked a lot about the under center, can they find something that they can lean on and just make it the identity going into the playoffs?
All right, other side of the ball.
Yeah.
All right, the good side of the ball. All right.
Vic had some good news yesterday. The Kobe Dean back.
Yeah.
That's big against the 49ers,
Yeah.
too.
Oh, of course. It's McCaffrey?
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, and Kittle. Yeah, you need those guys in the middle of the field. I mean, it's just, that's Kyle's thing, is that he's going to isolate your linebackers. He's going to try and get them into disadvantageous situations. And if you got Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean in those situations, you feel good about them in a lot of those matchups.
So, I feel good. I do think they're going to get Trent Williams back. They're going to get Pearsall back. Like, they're a different offense. I don't think people really understand that Pearsall's a good player. The problem with him is he goes at 100 miles an hour all the time, and he gets hurt a lot. But when he's on the field, he's their deep threat, and then he creates space for everybody else. Because now all of a sudden, Kittle, McCaffrey out of the backfield, Jennings in space, right? Like, that all works.
Yeah.
So that'll be their one test.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel good about them going into this test. Now, maybe it is like 17 or 21 points, but I do. I think like the only thing that gives me some pause is like the outside zone stuff that we saw the Eagles struggle with against the Bears. Kyle Shanahan is exactly the type of coach that's going to have that.
Yeah. He's
going to test them with that. So, that would be the one thing, but generally, I just think a lot of what the 49ers do is match up. That's what I think, again, that's Shanahan's strength. Is setting things up, making everything look the same, having motions to set different open space for things. But really, it's about finding the matchup, finding what you do, what your weakness is, and taking advantage of it. So, I'm excited to hear what Fran has to say today. But my guess is it's an outside zone type of concern for the Eagles defense. And I don't know. I think that Vic is going to have a plan for that.
Yeah,
Vic's got a plan for everything.
I do too. I think the same thing. I can totally see it.
Yeah. When you go into the biggest fear is the offense seeing some unscouted looks. I mean, that's what I fear.
That would be the concern. Yeah, there's not unscouted looks for Vic. I don't think he has. I don't think
he's
got
on top of
unscouted
it.
looks.
He is. He's the one guy that we all trust in Fangio. The Fangio Shanahan chess match is going to be awesome. I love it.
That's high level stuff. He said they're friends yesterday. He said he almost worked for Shanahan. He said it was 2018, I believe, or 2017. One of those 2 years, he almost joined the 49ers staff. He was the Bears DC at the time. So interesting. I feel like it's a high level of praise if Vic says that he's friends with you,
and he beat him that year. Vic beat Shanahan that year. Bears beat Niners. EJ, great stuff. 2:00 today. You'll have all the news.
We got Fran, we got Deniz. We're going to be going through Eagles defense versus 49ers offense. We'll have some updates from NovaCare. It's going to be a great show. I'm really excited for it.
I love it. All right, break a leg, man. We love you, buddy. Thank you. EJ Smith on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. Coming up, we'll talk some pucks, talk Fly Guys with Charlie O. But first, let's talk about our friends. How about a little Parks Casino, baby? Our casino of choice will be there tomorrow. Andrew and I'll be there tomorrow for Cousins Corner, hanging out. How about treat yourself to a new year of a night of entertainment and maybe a fine dining experience at Parks Casino? Girls' night out, guys' night out, date night. You want to go over there, check it out. Parks Casino has something for everyone's entertainment taste. How about this? Here's your lineup. Friday, January 16th, Queensryche.
Yeah.
January 31st, the Marshall Tucker Band, Jefferson Starship. Saturday, February 7th, Piano Man Generations, tribute to Elton John and Billy Joel. That's VG's favorite. February 28th, country artist Brett Young. Friday, March 6th, Candlebox.
Nice.
You have a Candlebox song?
I worked with Candlebox.
You did?
Yeah.
You got to go see your boys.
Yeah.
I love it. How about Cheap Trick, April 3rd? Did you work with them? I like it. There you go. ParksCasino.com to buy tickets. Got to be 21. Gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, now you see I have my Wawa coffee. Every day I stop and get my Wawa coffee. It's my favorite place. It's like 15 minutes where I see people, neighbors. Everybody's got a local Wawa. It's the way to start your day. It's also the way to fuel your day. How about this breakfast deal? The $5 big breakfast deal. Sizzly, any size hot or iced coffee, and a hash brown for a Finsky. That's right. All that for $5. I mean, you can't beat it, all right? Now, it's available every morning, 5 to 11 Eastern time, right? So during breakfast hours.
Yeah.
You can't beat it, all right? Again, you get any Sizzly, any size hot or iced coffee, and a hash brown, all for $5. Quick, easy, filling breakfast fits right into your morning routine for a great value. My God, I love it. Limited time available. Again, 5 to 11 every morning. You gotta have Wawa. Now, 5-2 last night.
Wow, he's got to be feeling good about
Over
last
the
night.
Ducks. This season's going exactly the way we hoped it would.
Dude, a rivalry with the Anaheim Ducks. It's a great rivalry. Never would I ever
What
believe
happens
that would happen.
when you got Gautier, Cutter, joining us on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line, Charlie O.
Charlie O'Connor, hockey was best in the biz. Everyone agrees. It's Charlie. It's Charlie.
How about that? You like that?
That is the first I've heard that one. Wow.
It's a debut.
I love it.
I just did it last
I
night.
love it.
He's got that E. He has that E look from Entourage.
100%. Yeah. Is it close enough? Little Jimmy Eat World vibe?
Honestly, yeah. VG, did you write that? Is that
I go to the lab. I create stuff.
Okay.
Pretty good, right?
I love it.
All right. Dude, I love last night. Convincing win. Zegras 2 goals. Again, old team. We hate the Ducks. They're coming off a long road trip, and they come out and they give you a great effort.
Yeah, it was a fantastic game to watch. Obviously, the Flyers do everything you want to see them do, which is win the game in convincing fashion. Trevor Zegras gets his revenge on his former team, and they created an atmosphere that makes you want to be in that building. Like that, I think was the coolest part. Because if you remember the game before the Christmas break, the final game they played at home against Vancouver, sold out building, a lot of fun. But you're like, maybe it's a Christmas game, whatever. Maybe that was the replacement that fans had for the Black Friday game. It didn't happen. Well, this game was even better. And look, last year the Anaheim game was fun too. But that was fun. I said this on our post-game show. That game was fun in the sense of it was just a 60-minute long party celebrating that Cutter Gauthier had a bad game. This atmosphere felt like a playoff atmosphere. And that's what multiple players said. That's what Cam York said after the game. Rick Tocchet echoed it in his post-game press conference. It felt like a playoff game. It was a nasty game. There were big hits. Garnet Hathaway was throwing his weight around. There were scrums. There were fights. You had guys like Noah Cates sticking up for Bobby Brink when he took an early hit. That was a game where, the Flyers are better than the Ducks. They played better than the Ducks. But they also played the kind of game where, that's the type of game, that's the type of style that you can see being played in May, and it's also what that building used to sound like when this team was regularly in the playoffs. So it was a lot of fun.
Well, you nailed it, right? What I love is the energy in the building's back. I feel like the building is back, right? I feel like, oh man, this is what it's like. Welcome back.
Yeah, I talked to one of the people who works in the ticket department for the Flyers before the game, actually before puck drop, and he told me that like, yeah, we're sold out tonight, but this isn't the only game coming up that we're sold out. We got quite a few games already sold out. Expect even more to be sold out by the time puck drops. So it does seem like slowly but surely, and the excitement's coming back. The fans are becoming more and more sold on this team and the fact that they might actually be on track to make the postseason.
Yeah, baby. All right, couple things. One, Cam York, since he's come back, it feels good, man. He's played really well. What are you seeing from Cam?
Yeah, I've really liked what I've seen from Cam York. A couple games ago, I actually I made him my third star. I think it was the Edmonton game because he got the bulk of the matchup against Connor McDavid, led the team in ice time. I think he picked up an assist, but I just really liked his all around game. His just the details, the grit that he's showing. He's never going to be a big physical guy. He's a smallish defensive, but he can play bigger than his size, and he certainly has been. He's not wilting in face of tough matchups. Obviously, had the goal and the assist last night, and he just seems to have the right attitude. Obviously, I'm sure he's thrilled that he's no longer playing for John Tortorella. Those two clash. Tortorella just never seemed to like him as a player, his general personality. But I've always liked Cam York's personality. It's laid back to a degree, but like underneath it, there's a real competitiveness. Like he's got like a dry sense of humor, but I've heard some people call it like, oh, he's California cool. Like I don't know. You talk to Cam York, and you don't have to scratch too deep to get a read on just how much he does care, even if he's not like a rah like run through a wall type. He's there. There's a lot of passion under there, and I think you're seeing that in his play. And he's establishing himself this season. As a definitely a clear cut top four defenseman. But in terms of the way he's being used, I mean. He's being used like a top pair defenseman, and he's more than holding his own.
All right. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to add, the big news this week before the game was the extension for Dvorak. You seem to be lukewarm on the contract, the terms. To me, it seems like, I don't know, a pretty thin center market going forward, and maybe they need a bridge because the young guys aren't ready for a couple years.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the short term, it's fine. He's a good player. He's having a good year. He's got good chemistry with Trevor Zegras. Obviously, he's really popular in that room. The players love him. If this was a 2-3 year deal, I would be completely on board because the cap hit's fine. It's actually a decrease from his cap hit that he has now. He's got a $5.4 million cap hit this year on that 1 year deal. He's going to be dropping to a $5.15 million cap hit on this 5 year deal. My issue is the term. Is that I worry that you're signing a guy who turns 30 in February next month. He'll be 35 when the deal expires. He'll have just turned 35 in 5 years when the deal expires in April or however long the Flyers are going in the playoffs by then. Hopefully it's all the way to June. I worry about the term. I worry that there's a risk that he falls off dramatically by the end and you're stuck with an albatross of a contract. I worry about an inability to trade him if young guys, because they have a ton of young guys, whether it's centers or wings, that should be ready by then, that they've drafted, they're developing right now. So I worry about that. It's pretty clear the way the Flyers are envisioning this is, as you said, VG, the center market is not good. Most of the centers that were projected to be available in free agency all re-signed, particularly the high-end ones. And we talked to Danny Briere before the game last night, and he basically said, look, we explored the trade market, but all the centers that might be available, the price that it was going to cost to get them this summer was going to be extremely high and not a price that we wanted to pay. So we decided to keep our guy. So number one, they're looking at it as they don't want to take a step back next year by being weak at center. It also tells me that they really don't think Trevor Zegras is a center, because that was my first thought when I heard Danny say that, of like, well, we need to get a center this summer if we let Dvorak go, and where are we going to get it? I'm thinking like, I don't know, you could just kick Zegras over to center. That would solve that problem. But it's pretty clear that Rick Tocchet and the Flyers just don't think he's a center. They think he's a winger. So, okay, there's that. And they also seem to think, and maybe they're right, this would certainly, deal with my concerns about the length of the deal, is that they think they'll be able to move him if they need to. in year 4, in year 5. The trade protection in the deal drops off dramatically after year 3. I was told that the day of the signing that like after year 3 we'll be able to move into pretty much anywhere. And I believe that the contract details were reported by someone last night. I think that the no trade clause drops down to 5 teams in year 4 and then is non-existent in year 5. So they're thinking like, maybe we get him for 3 years, and then the summer after the 3rd year, we move him, and that's when we move in, a guy like Jack Nesbitt or Jack Berglund or Jet Luchenko, if he's still pushing to be in that kind of role. That's the way they're hoping it works out, and I hope they're right. I just see a lot of ways that this could go bad, and hopefully they're right, and hopefully it doesn't, and he's either real good for 5 years or good for 5 years, or they're able to move him.
Go ahead.
No, I got to ask you about Michkov because the injury and then before the game, the social media is just relentless. He's getting traded. He's getting traded. Like it's way too much, man. He's become a lightning rod within the fan base, and they take a scratch because of injury as though there's something nefarious is going on.
I don't think it's funny. Again, speaking with that ticket guy, I asked him like, "Are you getting a lot of people calling up complaining about Mishkov?" And he's like, "Honestly, no, not really. Like once in a while, someone would be like, 'Hey, why isn't he getting more minutes?' But it's certainly not overwhelming." And I really think this is a Twitter creation. I really do. Like, not to say that people, aren't concerned that he's taken a step back in year 2, but I really think the vitriol and the anger and the constant like lightning rodness of Mishkov, I think it's a creation of Twitter. I really am. I'm starting to pick that up. He's hurt. Like you saw he was hurt. I went back and watched the tape when he missed practice on Monday. And there was it was Zegers that had a really, really hard pass. He was trying to go cross ice, and it hit Mishkov's flush on the left foot. He actually like let out a yelp. And what probably happened was he took his skate off and his foot blew up. And they did X-rays. It's not a fracture, so thank God. I'm glad he's not going to be out for any extended period of time. But his foot swelled up, and they're probably just taking it safe. So at this point, and honestly, I'm at the point where like. I've reported on the Mishkov story and the Mishkov situation as much as I feel like it's deserved. You're going to ask questions to Rick Tocchet, when Mishkov comes up in certain situations. But the obsession with Mishkov is, I think, not actually reflective of just how obsessed the entire fan base is and just how concerned they are all with like him getting treated as fairly as they believe he should be treated. I think it's more of a Twitter creation.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. I look at it like, again, the sophomore slump type of thing is real. Like we've seen that. Like second year, didn't come in great shape, the whole thing. And at some point, I'm going to see I expect a bump. And I don't think that he's something to worry about. I don't think he's listen, I love the kid. You know that. I was pumped up. Yeah. Like, I still think he's going to be a star. I just think it's going to take some time.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. My view is that as long as he goes out this summer and has a killer summer, and I believe in the kid's drive, I believe he wants to be great. So I think he's going to do that. He said that he's probably going to stay in the Philly area this summer and work out with Flyers trainers, work at the Flyers facility. I think as long as that happens, and I have no reason to believe it won't, I think this very well could just be remembered as like, oh, remember when Mishkov had that like 55-point season in his rookie year? Like that was fun, wasn't it? Like in no way, shape, or form am I ready to pull the plug on Matvei Mishkov. I love the kid. I think he's incredibly talented. I think he has superstar potential still. He's not having a great year, and is part of that him showing up to camp not in the best shape? Yeah, probably is part of that. Then he tries too hard and ends up losing some confidence here and there. Yeah, I'm sure it's a lot of things, but I still believe in Mishkov, and I think that's part of the reason why I'm not freaking out. I believe in Mishkov's talent, so I don't think that this is the start of him like going down the path to being a bust. I also believe that the Flyers aren't going to pull the plug on him just because he's having a just decent sophomore season. Talked to enough people in the organization that still very much see him as part of the future. And look, if they weren't willing to trade him for Quinn Hughes, I don't know who is going to be available that is more attractive to the Flyers in terms of a trade target as Quinn Hughes. And if Michkov was untouchable in that deal, like I don't know who they're trading him for.
Yeah.
Hey, any talk? Do you think Zegras' contract happens soon? It seems like he just gets more expensive as the weeks and months go by.
Well, we talked to Danny Briere yesterday before the game, and he said that they hadn't really started a conversation with him. Obviously, he's a pending RFA, so they don't need to, And trust me, we talked to Zegras multiple times yesterday, and this dude wants to be a Flyer. This dude doesn't want to leave. I don't think they have to worry about him signing an offer sheet or looking to demand a trade or anything like that. He loves Philly. He loves his teammates. He was talking about how they were putting the full court press on Dvorak to sign because we got to keep this group together. So he doesn't want to go. I do agree with you though, BG, that the longer they wait, especially if he keeps producing the way he's producing, and he's at a point per game pace through 41 games, he's going to cost more. And maybe they just resign themselves to that. Maybe they're looking at it as, well, if we have to pay him an extra $1.5 million a year, it's fine for having the added certainty of knowing that he's for real. But VG, I'm not going to lie, man. Like, I don't know how much more you need to see. Like, this dude's for real.
Yeah, he is for real.
It was curious to see. He mentioned when he talked about Dvorak how helpful he's been in the locker room for Zegras for handling his frustrations and his angers and doing it in a productive manner.
Yeah, I mean, one thing about Dvorak, and look, like, we're not privy to the inner workings of the room by any means, but it's very funny to hear like the players talking about like, oh man, he's like essential to the room because, we talked to him and he's a nice guy. Don't get me wrong, but he's like extremely low key, extremely chill. Like he just doesn't seem like his emotions go like super high or super low or anything, but maybe that's exactly what the group needs because Zegras obviously is a guy whose emotions, they run hot, they run cold. When he's feeling good, he's playing like he is now, and he's getting revenge on his old team for trading them and having the super short trade call. Apparently, is the rumor that was the first celebration that he got the call from Pat Verbeek and then hung up on him or something like that. That's the rumor.
That post game interview.
Yeah. The FCC gonna be giving it's gonna give FC Sports Philly a call for that one. But point being is that, maybe Dvorak is exactly what that group needs. Sort of like a stabilizing presence, a guy who's a little on the older side, but not old, who can hang with the kids, but then, pull them back a little bit when they go a little, they get a little out of hand. Maybe that's exactly what the team needs. Or maybe Zegras is like the most boisterous guy in the world behind closed doors. That's possible too.
He's a Zen master,
Yeah,
Dvorak.
I like it. All right, Chow. So Thursday, the Leaf. That's our next game, and we're just enjoying this group, man. A lot of fun.
That's true. Yeah, the Maple. I'm going to say that this is a bit that Kelly and Bill do a lot. Is that when the Maple Leafs are playing poorly, they should be called the Maple Leaves because they have forfeited the right to have incorrect grammar in their name. So they are the Maple Leaves because they're having such a bad year. They have to earn the right to be called the Maple Leafs again.
I like it.
Scott Lawton coming back. It'll most likely be his first game back as a non-flyer on Thursday. So that'll be cool.
Sounds good, buddy. We'll be watching, reading the whole thing. Killing it. Thanks, Charlie O.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Charlie O'Connor.
I never realized that it's improper plural. Like I know it that's the way you say Leaves, but it never dawned on me when thinking about the Leafs.
They got exemption. They got the grammar exemption. The Leafs. The Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs. All right. With a classic jersey, though. Like I always
the color
love that,
scheme,
the
I love it. Yes.
Like the leaf itself.
I love that blue
is
with
majestic.
that white. Yeah. Yes.
Like, those original 6 jerseys are still the greatest.
It's amazing how
Like
they
the
survived.
Blackhawk,
Yeah.
the Red Wing.
Yeah.
I'm a big Red Wing fan.
Habitants.
My cousin Joey had a Red Wings jersey growing up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
You an Iserman fan?
No, this just goes before that. Who was
Yeah.
the guy? Mickey Redmond.
What?
Yes.
I gotta look this guy up to see if
Like
he's a
from the
player.
70s.
This guy a player, Mickey Redmond?
The sweater.
Mickey
Yeah.
Redmond on the Red Wing.
Yeah, like when he was a kid, I remember. Wow, and I used to always steal his clothes.
That's a good steal.
Like I would wear his stuff. He used to be like, "What the? How many times are you going to steal?" Like I take all his clothes.
Yeah. I was a big fan of the
That
LA.
was the thing. Having an older, he's my cousin, but he's
Yeah.
like my brother. You know,
I like the LA Kings, the old school one with the purple and
That's
the
a
gold
great
with the,
one.
with the crown.
Yeah.
That is a nice piece.
That's
yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
Strong.
All right, Mickey Redmond had a couple good years.
Yeah.
71, 93, 77 points.
Yeah. All right. Time now for some business, and then we get Sielski. Sielski. But first, a word from our friends.
Hey, do you really want Jalen Hurts returning punts? No, of course not. It's not worth the risk, the time, or the money. You got to keep your stars focused on what they do best. The same goes for your business. You don't want your top people buried in operations, the tedious, time-consuming, redundant activities that wear the team down. Togo can help any business looking to reduce operating costs, become more efficient, or unlock more time for their best people. From customer service to accounting to order management, logistics, admin, data entry, even complex multi-step operational processes, we take it off your plate at a fraction of the cost. Every engagement starts with free process mapping, engineering, no cost, no commitment. We don't bill a dime until the real work begins. And with programs starting as low as $1,000 a month, you're not going to break the bank. Each Togo program includes dedicated staff, customer automations, and US-based process engineers who act as your quarterback, giving you complete control, total transparency, and instant efficiency. At Togo, turn your playbook into performance. You call the plays, we execute. Visit harnesstogo.com. Scale smarter, work faster, stay focused on winning.
Hey, you want Jalen Hurts returning punts Sunday against San Francisco? Of course not. It's ridiculous. Not worth the risk, the time, the money. Keep your stars focused on doing what they do best. Same goes for business. Enter Togo. You don't want your top people buried in operations, tedious, time-consuming, redundant activities that wear the team down. Togo can help any business looking to reduce operating costs. Become more.
Hey, Philly sports fans, listen up. It's the season of gifting. Yes, it's still the season of gifting. And if you're looking for something truly unforgettable this year, I got the perfect idea. You got to check out the incredible work from Philadelphia sports artist Jordan Spector over at SpectorSportsArt.com. SpectorSportsArt.com. I personally own one of Jordan's pieces myself, and trust me, these aren't just posters you hang on the wall. They're museum-level artworks of the greatest moments and icons in Philly sports history. His collections come in prints, canvases, and even athlete partner trading cards. And get this, one of the newest cards actually includes a piece of Brandon Graham's real game-worn jersey from that matchup in New Orleans. Remember against the Chiefs? It doesn't get more authentic than that. So if you got a diehard sports fan in your life, or if you just want to treat yourself, it's the kind of gift you'll talk about forever. So head over right now, SpectorSportsArt.com. That's SpectorSportsArt.com, and grab something epic for the Philly fan in your life today.
All right. Welcome back. Now, the great voice of the Inquirer. I love this dude.
I mean, who doesn't?
I do. I find him so interesting.
I look forward to his columns.
I do.
every
I look
week.
forward to it. It's a great conversation. He's a good conversationalist.
Yeah.
You know? Columnist for the Inquirer. Our friend on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line, Mike Sielski. The way you say Sielski.
It went like almost like a Hungarian guy.
Yes, like a Dracula guy. What's up, brother?
Guys, I heard you talking about the Detroit Red Wings. They were my favorite team, non-Philadelphia team growing up. And I actually had an Yzerman jersey when I was a kid. And in my bedroom, I had 3 posters above my bed. Gretzky, Lemieux, and Yzerman. My father called it the Blessed Trinity.
Wow.
A little bit of violation. There's no flyer up
How
there.
did you feel about 97?
Sergey. By then I was a senior at LaSalle in college by then, and the idea that the Flyers might win the Stanley Cup like overwhelmed whatever affection I had for the Red Wings. Yeah. And then I watched the games. It's like, oh, they don't have a chance. Like the Red Wings are just so much better. I
know, man. Flyers were a favorite going into that series.
That's one of the all-time, like you look back on that series now, and that's one of the all-time, like everyone should have seen this coming and understood that the Flyers should have been underdogs because that Red Wings team had been good and hadn't gotten over the hump and was so loaded with Yzerman, Fedorov, Lidstrom, Konstantinov, Fedorov, just up and down Shannon, up and down the lineup. It was an amazing team.
Yeah, it was. They were ridiculous, man. I remember I watched Game 1 at a hockey bar on Manhattan Beach. It was in LA.
Not bad.
Harry
Nice flex.
Harry
Nice
O's.
flex.
You remember Harry O's?
I don't. I've never been there.
Yeah, it's a hockey bar in Manhattan Beach, California, and I remember game. All I kept waiting to do was watch game 1. Like, leave me alone. I was covering something out there, and I'm like, leave me alone. Like, I'm just want to watch the game, and I'm like, oh no, I'm all flying up, you know.
Yeah, that was every Flyers fan for the next several weeks was seeing like 40-foot slap shots just pass through Ron Hextall and Garth Snow in their nightmares. I mean, it was just awful.
Yeah.
All
right.
Rest in peace, Harry O's.
It's gone.
Yeah, it looks like it's now the Standard Station Sports Bar and Grill.
Harry O's was awesome. That was a great spot. Right on the sand, dude. Here's the deal. We got wild card weekend. All right. Now, I want to get into your brain because I'm feeling very confident. I feel like the matchup. I always like to look at matchups. So I'm feeling good about the Eagles' offense, at least from this perspective, Mike, that it's there for them. If they can't produce against that defense, then it's over.
Yeah, agree completely. It would not surprise me to see them do some things that we haven't seen much of this season. I think there's good reason to think that Jalen Hurts is going to be carrying the ball more often. And we all know what an effective Hurts running with the ball does for this offense. It just opens everything else up. So I feel pretty good about this matchup too. As you said, the 49ers are beat up all over, really beat up on defense. This is not the same 49ers team. I'm sure some Eagles fans are thinking back to 2023, where the Niners came in and Clubber Lang the Eagles in that week 11 or 12 game. And it was the jumping off point for the collapse that followed. This is not that kind of Niners team. And if I'm the Eagles, I feel pretty good about this matchup too.
Yeah, I look at it and like, to me, it's a Jalen game, right? I think you're right. I think he's going to be part of the run game. I think Goddard should have a big game. I think I want to see him throw it, and then close it with Saquon. The old Andy Reid, which is throw early, run late.
Yeah, and there's an emotional element to that too, cause that I think stands to benefit the Eagles. Right? They've been so sluggish and so inconsistent on offense all year that if they are able to be productive in their first playoff game by doing the things that we're talking about, by having Jalen run and getting the run game back, getting Lane Johnson back, there's an invigorating emotional aspect to that, where all of a sudden it's like, hey, okay, Rocky's getting, not to beat up an analogy, but like Rocky's getting off the canvas, and the music kicks on. There's an element of that, of like, oh, they've been sandbagging the team, the league all along. And I'm not saying, is there reason to think that's going to happen? Yeah, there's a little bit of a reason to think it's going to happen. They still have to prove it, but this is the perfect stage for them. It really is. If they end up winning this game 14-10, and it's another game similar to the one they played against the Bills, then yeah, people will be happy they won, but it's going to be like, oh, okay, this is pretty sobering. Like, they're really not.
Yeah, a rock fight against the Niners is not going to be good. Like,
yeah,
they need to get well. I don't think Lane's going to play. So, and I think you should still be able to win. I think Fred is good in the pass game. Like, I think he's a good pass blocker. Steen's a good pass blocker. I think again, against a team that can't get an ounce of pass rush. Like,
right.
They have no teeth in the pass rush. And that's what gives Jalen, it gives every quarterback issues, right? So, if you got a clean pocket and you can pat the ball a little bit, that's a good recipe.
Yeah, and the flip side, of course, is that Fangio has had a good amount of success against Kyle Shanahan and his offense. So the matchup plays pretty well. This is part of the reason I know you disagree. This is part of the reason it didn't bother me that they rested the starters last week. Is that this matchup didn't really scare me. Yeah, in a perfect world, do you want the extra home game? Sure, but I still like this matchup for them.
Yeah, I don't need to relitigate that. I mean, I feel you. I see.
Why I'm baiting you to relitigate it. Let's go.
I listen. I see both sides. I just think, you got to play. They didn't deserve. They weren't good enough to rest, and I think you got to feel good about yourself. And again, they didn't. I still got questions about the Sirianni Patullo, ahead of this offense, and I think that you could win this on talent. And I think, look, I think they're in a good spot because if you win, which we expect them to do, you got, let's say, Chicago beats Green Bay. I feel good about going into Chicago and kind of revenge game.
Yeah, I would too. I would feel good about facing Caleb Williams again because he just strikes me as the kind of guy at this stage of his career who's going to make mistakes in a game like this. It's one thing to make the crazy throws and the late amazing plays that he was making, to beat the Packers the last time around and, late in the season. But to do that in the second round of the playoffs against the defending Super Bowl champs when their strength is their defense and it's a revenge game and, with Carter back in the lineup and Fangio kind of doubling down on his preparation, I would be surprised if, assuming the Eagles and Bears play each other, the Bears were able to move the ball on the ground the way they did the first time around.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously if it's the Packers, you welcome that. That game's at home.
Yeah, then you get a home game.
And who knows? Maybe the Rams beat Seattle, right? And we're looking at home. It's in the cards.
Everything's in the cards. This is one of the reasons to think that they can get back there. It's not. Are they as good as they were last season? Of course not. But you have to look at this Eagles team in the context of the entire NFC. And while the NFC's deep, any of these teams can beat any other team. The Rams are not quite the same team. And Matthew Stafford, while still terrific, is not quite the same quarterback outside that he is inside SoFi Stadium. And the Seahawks defense is amazing, but Sam Darnold burps the ball up. He just does. So there are all these kind of equalizing factors that is it possible the Eagles get back there? Certainly.
You see what he did there? He used the trick to good writing, which is active verbs. And he said, Sam Darnold burps up the ball. Mm-hmm. That's a great use of the language.
I should learn to talk like a normal human being, though, cuz I really should.
No, why? Why?
Because
don't.
It's all right.
All right. I appreciate those nuance. I appreciate that. What do we learn?
I have this vision. I have this vision of VG off camera, like rolling his eyes at me.
No, he appreciates it too. Listen, he just looks like a chain snatcher. He appreciates good work.
I'm a Raider, man, at heart. So yeah, of course.
He is. That's true.
Mikey, let's look at this big picture. And let's look at the coaching staff. Because we saw, we're coming off of Monday and, here's Harbaugh, let go. Stefanski, let go. Right? Like all this stuff going on. And I hear people talk about Sirianni and they go, he wins games, ridiculous clip. And again, I'm not saying you're going to replace him or anything like that. I just wanted to have a discussion about how good is he? Like, is it true? Like, are those wins all his? And I'm just asking the question.
Yeah. Are they all his totally? No, because they do have the guy who's regarded as the best general manager in the sport. And they do have an owner who prioritizes winning to a degree that a lot of owners around the league don't, right? Kevin Stefanski's out of a job today. because he works for Jimmy Haslam. Like, let's be very frank about that. That doesn't make Kevin Stefanski the second coming of Don Coryell or Bill Walsh. It just means the circumstances that he works under in Cleveland are different from the one that Nick works under here in Philadelphia. Everybody acknowledges that. The flip side of that is that it can be more difficult, and is often more difficult, for a head coach in any sport to handle a team that is as talented as the Eagles are. And I think there is something to be said for Nick's, as Jeffrey Leary would say, emotional intelligence. I think that things that seem like they are silly to the average football fan that Nick does resonate within that locker room. And I wrote about this for today, right? Like, we're in an age now, because all 22 is available to everybody, and because we know more about football scheme and strategy and what's supposed to happen, that we can tend to fetishize a guy like Kyle Shanahan, who's a tremendous coach, really smart, can design an offense. And it's easy for everybody to look at the film and say, look at what Shanahan's doing to get Brock Purdy time and to get George Kittle open. And it's all there laid out in front of us. And the things that make Sirianni, his strengths, the things that make him a good coach, aren't as visible and available to us. They're more intangible. And it doesn't make Sirianni a better coach than Kyle Shanahan, but it doesn't necessarily make him a worse one either. And that's the hard part of this to kind of quantify, I think.
Yeah, you see, here's the thing. You omitted one big piece of this puzzle. Fangio.
Yeah.
Having a guy, like, he doesn't touch the defense. Having a guy to lean on like Fangio. So I vacillate on Sirianni. I go back and forth.
It depends. Yeah, and I know you do. And go ahead.
No, I just want to get this out because
yeah.
When he first came here, I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, right? Like, young dude. Ultimately, he wasn't what I thought he was. I thought early on that he was going to be one of these, young, bright offensive, comes from that side of the ball, talked about, hey, like, I'm not married to my scheme. I know I could work, I could win with different quarterbacks and and design something to the strength of my players, all that stuff. And I was like, all right, and I like him. I still like him. Don't get me wrong. As a dude, I like him. I like what you talk about, his EQ. I think it's good. But I had this conversation with a guy in the league last night, and I was like, we were talking about him. I'm like, if you ask me right now, who would I rather have, Stefanski or Sirianni? I'm all in on Stefanski. I just would. I just think he does. I think he does more. I think he's smarter. I think that matters. Now, I hate to say that, but it's just a conversation. And we're just, and he's won a ton of games. And I hear the other side, like, what more you want? Look at that record. But I'm like, you got to also pay attention to what's there.
Yeah, I think some of this depends on how you look at a head coach's role and how much you value certain qualities, right? I would suspect there are a lot of head coaches in the league who might bristle a little bit at Fangio coming in, right? Being told this older, wiser coach is going to come in and handle your defense. And some guy, a lot of guys I'm sure would be like Nick, like, hey, we're getting Vic Fangio. That's awesome. Some other guys might be like, no, I'm the coach. I'm the head coach. I'm running this show. There is something to be said for the willingness to delegate, to allow good people in their positions to do their jobs. And I understand where you're coming from with respect to Stefanski and the calling of the offense and having your fingers and everything. But I also think there's a lot of value in a guy who can be a culture setter, a tone setter, who keeps the temperature in the locker room where it ought to be. And I would venture to bet would have been other head coaches who might have allowed, for instance, the Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown situation to spiral. Andy Reid allowed the Terrell Owens, Donovan McNabb situation in 2005 to spiral. And I'm sure it was a learning experience for him in that in that moment that he didn't allow to happen again or was able to understand better how to handle those kinds of situations. Well, maybe Nick is a little further along in that regard, and he's not as far along in some other regards. It's a give and take.
I mean,
Yeah.
it took a conversation with Jeffrey Lurie with A.J. Brown at some point this year. So I don't know how much I'm buying into it, especially when A.J.'s all over. There's a lot of disgruntledness. There's a lot of leaks coming out. And then you have the owner has to have a conversation with AJ. So I don't. When I read your piece today, I was like, you may be, which I love because you always poke me. You're probably the only person in our circle or sphere who would use the word savant with Nick Sirianni.
Yeah,
Love
and look, some of this to me comes down to it harps on something and builds on something Anthony just said, which is you like him as a guy. I think he is the most normal human being to have been the Eagles head coach who I covered. And I don't mean to say like Andy Reid or Chip Kelly or Doug Peterson is crazy or something like that, although in Chip's case, that might be true.
Yeah.
But just I think that relatability is an asset for him. And I don't know how what value we can place on that. You know, we might undersell it. And yeah, did Lurie step in and talk? Yeah. Were they winning anyway? They were. They'd won a Super Bowl with this dynamic in place last year. And it wasn't like this just happened overnight. Surely this had been building for a while, and they were able to succeed in spite of it. It didn't all fall apart the way it did, as I said, back in 2005. Now, again, A.J. Brown is not Terrell Owens, but coaches encounter these kinds of things, and he seemed to be handling it okay. Does it help that Lurie stepped in? Of course.
Yes. You know, it's funny. It's such a great conversation, right? It really is because it's nuanced. It's funny because, you know, after reading your piece, I had the same thing. It's why I brought this up because I'm like,
yeah.
You know, last year he came within a thread of getting fired, right?
Right.
The only reason why he wasn't fired is because they stumbled onto the idea that something that I know I said it, and there are other people who said it too, that they should just be a downhill run team because they had a great offensive line. They had Saquon Barkley, and they had Vic Fangio and Jalen Carter. And it was like he stumbled onto it. And they got hot, and they went, and he managed it. Like, so again, it's not like he's a passenger, but my biggest issue, and it's why I vacillate, and it's going into this playoff where he's trying to defend his title, I go, can you fix it? Like, I need you, especially if you come from that side of the ball, I need you to be able to fix it. And if he comes in this run and they're able to look good offensively, and it's on a silver platter in the first game, then I'll know a lot more about him. And I'll have a lot more appreciation of what he has done. Is that fair?
That is totally fair. That is totally fair. And if they continue to play on offense the way they've played all season and it doesn't get any better, fire away at Nick for that. The one thing the caveat I would point out is that an awful lot of great coaches, have stumbled into things. You know, the Patriots happened to draft a quarterback in the 6th round in 2000. And I know Bill Belichick loved Tom Brady and wanted to play him and thought that they should not give. I get it. I know. He hadn't benched Drew Bledsoe before Bledsoe started bleeding internally during a game. So let's keep that in mind.
They're stumbling into Tom Brady as the GOAT, and there's having Saquon Barkley and that offensive line and not recognizing that, maybe I shouldn't throw it this many times. Maybe I should just run the freaking ball.
Yeah, but throwing it that many times was what the organization had wanted to do for years and years, too.
Okay, well, I go, hey, Jeff, see that guy? See Barkley?
Yeah.
All right? See the 5 guys I have in front of me that are in front of this line? Like, you know. Like,
yeah, I know.
It was staring neon sign. That's my point.
Sure, but it would have been staring Jeffrey and Howie in the face for a long time too. because for 2 decades it was throw to get a lead, run to protect the lead, go after the quarterback, pile up points. I mean, we are talking about an owner who in 2018, 2019 was complaining after his team had won a road game in Green Bay because they ran the ball so much and didn't score enough points.
Yeah. I get it, but you're the coach, dude.
That's why you're right, 100% right. That's why it's a great conversation. It's nuanced. It's not Nick is an idiot or Nick is the second coming.
And I don't come at it like with that. Like, again, I like him. I want him to succeed because I think he's a good dude. I think a decent guy. He's a father. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a lot of things that I find him endearing, right? Like, and you're right. He is normal. Normal, even his flaws, where he's overly emoting.
Exactly. It's like every dude from South Jersey or South Philly was coaching the Eagles.
Yeah.
Every one of them would run up and down the sideline and chest bump Jalen Carter and Kevin Patullo. They'd all be doing that.
Yes. I was chest bumping my center last night, Miller. No.
Break his ribs.
All right. We always go 4 for 4. So quickly, let's kind of go through it. Hey, to me, the Phillies offseason should be defined by one man, Bo Bichette.
Go get him.
Yes.
Go get him.
Spend the money.
I know they don't want to spend the money. They still need another bat. Go get him.
It's going to be, and he's perfect. He gives them flexibility on the infield.
He fits them.
Yeah.
He's the perfect fit for them. And by the way, if you add him into it, you re-energize the fan base as well.
Bingo.
Because I don't know about running it back. Yeah. Stakes and I argued yesterday about like they were in VG. And then, they were right there with the Dodgers. Okay, well, that doesn't mean that they're a leg up on the Dodgers. That means they have to get to exactly that point to try to, and who knows, Dodgers could be better. So give me Bo Bichette. So we agree.
Yeah, totally agree. The market, Murph pointed this out in his column today, the market's kind of been stagnant. Maybe that presents an opportunity for them to pounce.
And I love the flexibility because they're saying eventually Trey transitions to center field maybe. He's perfect for that to help with that transition. You can move Stott to short if you need to. He can play a crappy shortstop if you need it from Bichette, but it gives you a lot of flexibility.
Oh, yeah.
It lengthens their lineup. They need to lengthen their lineup. They need another bat, and he would be ideal. I
like to take credit for that column because when Monday I went off on Bo Bichette to Murph, so I'm hoping I gave that.
Murph. I saw Murph's hair part. He wasn't thinking straight.
Oh, man. Someone said he looked like he came out of the Fablemans 1950.
All right. We talk Flyers. I mean, we all feel good, right? Like, the Meachkoff thing, it's just sophomore slump. And, are you panicked? You're not panicked over that, right?
I'm not panicked about that. I get the panic among the fan base because they are so hungry for something to get behind and a star and all of that. But I've come around on this. Like, they should try to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
They should. They may not yet. It's a long season, and who knows what's going to happen. If Drysdale's out for a while, that could hurt them, obviously. But there's something to be said for generating some good feelings at this stage.
Agreed. All right. Sixers lose to the Nuggets. Now, you and VG argued about, VG said the Sixers were closer to the championship than the Eagles. You guys argued that. Losing to the Nuggets' second and third team, did that sway? I guess it didn't sway VG.
It didn't sway me.
It didn't sway.
It's the first game off a long road trip.
Tell me who their defensive stoppers are. I love Maxey.
They're coming back. It's Oubre and Barlow. They're coming back.
Oubre.
You're relying on Kelly Oubre and Barlow.
I wish.
What are you, nuts? Oubre.
You got to tell me how
they win tonight by 20. Everyone goes back to feeling good.
When the playoffs come around, you got to tell me how they're going to stop teams from scoring, because as good as Embiid has looked offensively, he's not moving as well defensively. And that's a problem.
Yeah, and I don't think it's the roster's complete. I think they'll make a move and get a 4 who could play some kind of defense, I think.
All right. Well, until that happens, I'm going to continue to say the Eagles have a better chance of winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I could just say, well, who's good in the East? I mean, that's all it comes down to. Who's good in the East? Nobody.
Who's good in the East? I mean, probably not, but I'll believe it when I see it with this.
Yeah, I'm not saying the Sixers are better than the Eagles. I'm just saying the East is easier than NFC.
Maybe.
All right. I'll ask you this. All right, when it comes to the Sixers, is the coach the right guy for that team?
That's a good question.
This would be
I
like
don't
their
know.
eighth coach. Is any coach right for this team?
Yeah, I don't know. There's such a mishmash in a way because you've got these young, hungry perimeter guys, and then you've got Embiid and George, who, you're trying to make it work with these two guys who may or may not be in the lineup. Embiid obviously more so than George. It's hard to say. As VG just said, like at some point, can it be more than just the coach? I don't know. I don't know.
There's a part of me that thinks it's Embiid. No one knows how to coach with Embiid at this game right now. And I don't.
Yeah, there's no being settled anymore with it. We're past the point of knowing day to day whether Joel is going to play or not. And I don't know that you ever, as a coach, as somebody's got to make the lineup up and, try to build momentum and find something that works like that. No matter how good he is when he plays, you're never going to be able to generate that kind of momentum because you don't know whether he's going to be there the next night.
And you heard some of Nurse's frustration the other night when he was like, "Oh, what's this? Our third game we've played with a full roster."
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Last thing, we have a friend, and I want to. He's very ill right now. Tasty Cake Dom.
Oh, Tasty Cake.
Oh no.
And he loves you, Mike. He loves you and Robbie E. Never misses a Saturday show on WIP. He loves when you're on with me. He reads you every day. He loves Robbie E. Very, very ill. I mean, he had a bad infection that had to get cleaned out. All results of diabetes, and my heart goes out to him because he worked hard. He lost a lot of weight and all, and this thing just got him, and he's been going through it. And he's like, do me a favor, tell Mike, how much I love him and value him and his word. So I wanted you to know that and give you a couple good words of encouragement to Taste the Cake Dom.
Absolutely. First of all, Dom, I hope you're watching this and listening to this. I speak for Rob and for Ann, for all the guys on the show. We love you too. We are sending out, prayer after prayer after prayer. Hang in there, man. Robbie and I love it when you call the show. We know you're out there listening, and we appreciate it more than you know. So hang in there and stay strong, pal.
Thanks, brother. Yeah. Mikey, we love you, buddy. Great man.
Thanks, guys. Right back at you.
See you, pal. The great Mike Sielski on the Comcast Xfinity mobile call-in line. Yeah, Tasty Cake Dom's in the hospital, so do me a favor.
Come on, man. Tasty Cake.
Prayers for him, okay?
Yeah.
Power of prayer. I believe in it.
Me too.
All right. Let's take care of some business, shall we? Let's talk pests. Rats and roaches and all kinds of creepy crawlers.
Cutters.
All right. Evans Cutter Gauthier.
Yeah.
Yes, he's the pest of the week.
He is the best.
He is. That's a great one, VG. Evans Pest Control, not some giant national chain. Family-owned, community-focused pest control company right here in our area, and they've been earning the trust of our neighbors for years. I can tell you here where there is a rat problem, and it has been eradicated.
I haven't seen
by
any
Evans
turds.
Pest Control. They can handle anything: rodents, insects, termites, bed bugs. They offer priority services consultations, which is huge when you have a problem with pests. All right, tell you got to check it out. They got won the Best of Philly and Philly Favorite Gold Award. They got to go and visit evanspestmgmt.com. That's Evans Pest Control at evanspestmgmt.com.
All right. Let's talk about our friends over at Elkins Chevrolet. Elkins Chevrolet. It's run by three brothers. They're real, actual brothers. They're big sports fans. And this time of year, they're making sure you get a deal that will feel just as good as a win. They've got a big inventory of Chevy trucks. They got SUVs. And there's no better time to grab one at a price that it just won't last. Now's the time. So whether it's getting to the game, to work, or hitting the holiday road, you want to roll into this new year with the perfect ride, and you want to do it at the perfect price. And the perfect ride for you could be a Trailblazer, an Equinox, a Tahoe, nice Suburban. If you like a pickup truck, they got the Silverado. Elkins Chevrolet is real brothers, real deals, and a whole lot of honking good service. You know, Elkins Chevrolet, it's easy to get to. It's in Route 73. It's all Route 73 South in Marlton, New Jersey. So shop now at elkinschevrolet.com. Hey, you know what we say. Together, let's drive.
Let's drive. All right. So I had a chance to sit down with Kevin Burkhardt. That's right. He'll be on the call with Tom Brady, 4:30 Sunday on Fox, the top team coming to town. Here's Kevin. Joining us, you know it's a big game. Yes, when we got our man, Kevin Burkhardt, coming back to the link, 4:30 Sunday on Fox. Kev, playoffs are here, baby.
Let's go. Back to the hood. Always great to come back to the link, brother. You know that. I'm fired up, man. It's cool. I mean, it's you know what? It's funny, and I'm curious, like your take. You know, we've done a million Eagles games this year, and we've done a lot, obviously, the last X amount of years. And despite all the stuff that's gone on, I think back to when I was a kid, and there's a lot of lean years, man. Like I hope the fans aren't taking this run for granted, because this is pretty special. And I just think, I was talking about this with Tom a couple weeks ago when we had the Bills game. And the Eagles are just laying in the weeds. Not a damn soul is talking about them. And I just think they're in a really good position. We'll see.
It's true, right? Like, you got the defending champions, and all the talk in the NFC is about the Rams in Seattle. And, even, Chicago is getting a lot more buzz than the Eagles. And maybe it's because of that game in Buffalo and kind of the offense, and people saw, hey, no first downs for an entire half and that sort of thing. I guess that's what they're kind of looking at.
Listen, I think, you almost get spoiled by what you put on tape. And what they put on tape last year was incredible. I mean, you don't have 2,000-yard seasons all the time and and blow out everybody in the playoffs and beat the Chiefs by 40 in the Super. It just, it's almost like they set it up so high that they can't reach their own bar. And I get it. At times the offense has looked ugly, and I think there's pretty obvious reasons why. I think, when you combine a lot of the factors, and I know you'd like that to be better, and I think it's got a good chance in the playoffs to be better. We'll see. But I think in reality, the only stat that matters is points. And they usually score more points than the other team. We did that Buffalo game, and we've done a lot of their games, and a lot of them are similar. And usually it involves the defense being really good, and they scored just enough, and Jalen Hurts makes a play late that's enough to win the game. And you know what? That works. If that gets them into another Super Bowl, who cares what it looks like?
It's a great point. It really is. And a lot of you listen to Nick, and when you guys talk to Nick in your production meeting, like there's a reason why they'll be ultra conservative, right? When it comes to turnovers and winning the turnover battle. They've won a ton of games that way, man. Style points don't matter. This isn't, voting for a poll in college football.
Yeah, I think, look, the reality is their formula, and they've realized that since Vic got there, is their D is exceptionally sound. And if they don't turn the ball over, their record under Sirianni is insane. So why not just stick with that formula? Look, I'm not saying that they want to score 13 points or not complete a pass in the second half. That's not what I'm saying. But I think that in the playoffs, and my feeling is, the last month, the offensive line has played better. Like they haven't played at the same level as last year, and they've had a lot of injuries. So I think there's a lot of different things there. And quite frankly, Jalen Hurts hasn't been a factor in the run game at all. He amped it up a couple games in December. And I think I think in the playoffs, that's got to be there for them. I think that's a big deal when you have that ability for him to do the zone read stuff and take off. Half the defense has to honor that. And I think that's going to be a part of Sunday. I'd be shocked if it wasn't.
Yeah, and the other thing too is, and they've shown it more, and I think you'll see it more on Sunday, which is him under center. I think that just adds for play action. And if he's not going to be a huge part of the run game, then you got to get him out of shotgun and get him behind center a little bit, just so you see it every week with this league, with Ben Johnson and Shanahan and McVay, everything based off of play action.
Yeah, I think they had to do it. They're too static, and they didn't give the defense enough to think about. I thought it was fascinating, actually. We said this at dinner a couple weeks ago, and Tom Brady said it on the air during the Bills game. He actually said that the game against Chicago, we know what happened to the Eagles D, but he said the Eagles offense took stuff from Ben Johnson that game. And he's like, since that game, their play action, their movement, some of the things they're doing, the eye candy stuff didn't exist for the Bears game. I thought that was fascinating. And I think it's made a difference to your point. You just got to give the defense a little something else and just everybody standing there and in the shotgun. It's not today's NFL. It doesn't do enough. So I think that's why the last month you've seen some flashes of some better things. They just have to have this. It seems like they have one great half and the other half, like, where's the other? What happened?
Yeah.
So I think they just got to find a way to have some consistency, and we'll see.
Yeah, it's been weird that way. You brought up a great point about setting your own bar. And last year was they were so dominant that, it's impossible. And you know this better than anybody. Like, you see it every week. When you could make these deep playoff runs, I was talking to Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo the other day. It's like they almost are welcoming this break because they need it. Like, when you're playing that deep every year, guys just get beat up.
Yeah, that rest, and I know people wondered, like, oh, why not go for the 2 seed, especially after the Bears lost, and they wanted it. But I think the rest is a big deal, especially for the offensive line. They were so banged up, and look, they go into this game healthy. Hopefully you're hoping that Lane Johnson and Kobe Dean could both play. But that's as healthy as you can get going into a playoff run. I think they needed it. And I think, like, especially for a team like that, yes, would you like to have the 2 seed? Yeah. That's what they were last year, But in reality, I think if you're taking the balance of a 2 or 3 seed as compared to having guys rested and healthy, I would agree with Sirianni all day. I would take the rest there, especially for a veteran team who has won before.
It's funny, you brought up, it's fascinating, Tom talking about the Bears game. And it made me think of that ad campaign, which is the greatest. Football like Tom Brady. That's like you now. I mean, the two of you guys, forget about it. You have a PhD, Kev. You always knew it in an elite manner, but now you have a PhD.
Well, it's just fun sitting with him. I mean, like, going and talking during the week, and he shows us film, and then, we're at dinner and shooting the breeze. And, so it's just fun absorbing it, to be honest with you. I mean, he forgets more football than we all know. So it's been cool. It's been just the whole experience, with Tom has been really, really awesome. And, I think we just continue to grow, and that just happens, when you have time on task with somebody. But I'll tell you what, for a football junkie, just love the stories and love, like, the knowledge and, like, he's pointing stuff out on film. We're like, ooh, that's cool. It's like nerd out stuff. You could probably make a TV show of, like, our stuff outside the game, of all the conversations we have.
That's the greatest. And we are entering the 5 days of football, right? We have the 2 college football playoff games, Thursday and Friday. And then we got, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's the greatest 5 days, I think, in the calendar.
Football is not the greatest. I mean, it's just the best, man. God, it's so good. And then you get to the playoffs, and then you go through the whole thing, and hopefully your team makes a run, and then you get to, like, I forget the date of the Super Bowl. You get to, like, February 10th, and you're like, oh, now what do we do?
Right. I want to cry. I mean, we were talking about that game Sunday night. I mean, you want to talk about the perfect drama of that game, right? You have the historic rivalry, Pittsburgh and Baltimore, And then you have Rodgers and you have Lamar and then Tomlin and Harbaugh and the kickers and the priest before the game blessing that part of the field. I mean, you can't make it, you can't write it.
It's so great. That's the beauty. It's the best reality show there is, you know. It really is. I mean, we did the Bears Packers a couple weeks ago. It was one of the craziest games I've ever seen in my life. I mean, you know, the Bears were dead. They were, you know, they were down double digits, and then they, you know, Caleb Williams was like 45% passing, you know, at that point. They get an onside kick, and he was ridiculous, and they go and score in fourth down, and then they win in overtime, and you're like, how the hell did that just happen? Like, we're watching the whole game, like, that's the beauty of it, man. You just never know week to week.
So you've seen San Francisco, and let's talk about the Niners. They're going to get Trent Williams back. They're going to get Ricky Pearsall back. It's it's Shanahan, so Purdy's playing great football. Obviously, defensively, they've been, you know, emaciated by injuries. What kind of Niners team is coming in here?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, they were as hot as anybody until they faced Seattle. And I think, look, in that game, Seattle's defense is, you know, top two. They in Houston, to me, are just like lights out. Obviously, the Eagles are excellent defense too. But so in that game, though, Pearsall big. He's their best receiver, and most people don't realize that. But because he's had so many injuries, but he is by far their best receiver. He's their best guy beating man. So those are two big guys. If they could get them back this week, I think their offense is pretty formidable. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey had another over 2,000 scrimmage yard year. And Purdy, since he came back from the toe end, had been playing great. You know, maybe not as good this week against Seattle, but I think their offense is really, really formidable and good, especially if those guys are back. Defensively, it's not the same team. It's just not. They've had so many injuries, and it's amazing they've survived kind of. You know, Robert Saleh has kind of had them piece it together and survive, but they've got no pass rush. It's the worst pass rush probably the 49ers have ever had, you know, and that's really, there's just too many guys out. You know, Bosa and Fred Warner, number one, but then you just go down the list. They've had injuries all year long. And this week, you know, their linebacker depth.
They lost Bethune. Bethune was a nice player, too. Filling in for Fred.
Yeah, that's big. And they've got other linebacker injuries and other injuries along the line. So I don't know who's going to play yet. It's too early in the week. But I think there's some holes there to expose for the Eagles on defense. They've kind of been hanging on. I mean, they did an amazing job in the Seattle game to keep it where it was, honestly, because it felt like Seattle was up 40 at points in that game.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what you're going to get. Like, you know, these teams have obviously had the wars. You know, with Kyle Shanahan, his game planning is elite. And that's going to be a challenge even for a great Eagles D. But I think the area is, you know, on the line. You know, I think the Eagles have a chance to open up the run game and kind of maybe get some big yards against that D. We'll see.
And even you know, with the fact that they're not going to get a pass rush, I mean, I could see this being a Jalen game where Jalen makes some plays down the field to AJ and Devontae. I think, you know, sometimes the pressure, you know, to any quarterback, that thing could hurt them. But without the Niners being able to pressure him, I could see some plays down the field.
You know, here's the one thing you say when you look at Jalen Hurts and what he's done in his career so far. Obviously, his two best games were in the Super Bowl, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, the MVP, and, you know, he wins the MVP if they win the other one. He was excellent in that game, minus the one fumble, which obviously cost him. I think if you look at Jalen Hurts, the best thing you could say about him is in elevated moments, he elevates his game. Every time. I mean, he just does. In the big spots, in the biggest games, he's been best in the playoffs. And I think that's what makes him great. And he doesn't turn it over. You know, minus that crazy Chargers game, the guy doesn't turn it over. So I think that is their area of strength. I would agree with you. I would not take the 49ers lightly at all. And I don't think they're going to. They know what they're up against. But at some point, the lack of manpower gets to you. And I think defensively, they're just kind of holding it together best they can.
The fun part is going to be Shanahan versus Fangio. Like those two,
so
like that chess match. I know you as a junkie, you love that, man.
It's so good. And that's why, like, to have for them, those two guys back is so big, right? Like, it even, you know, even though Trent's mid-30s now, he's still elite at left tackle. And, you know, they have a bunch of guys at wide receiver who have done a nice job. But Pearsall, he's just, the country doesn't really know him. He's really good. He just hasn't stayed healthy in his 2 years in the league. So that definitely changed. I mean, how fun is that? You know, him against Quignon has been insane. You know, you got Kittle, who's always a problem against, you know, Zach Bond and hopefully Dean if you're the Eagles. It's just cool. It's going to be a fun matchup. And, you know, I don't know. We've had a couple fireworks these games, as you know. I did the championship game a couple years ago when they wiped them out. You know, there's a little bad blood there, which I kind of like.
What's it like playoff for you at Lincoln Financial Field?
For me personally?
Yeah, like the environment. Like when you're there in you've been here so many Januaries. What is the environment like? Like when listen, you've been at every stadium, but January here is very special.
It's the best. I mean, I used to sit there for those games, you know, as a fan. So like it's the best. You know, when they play Rocky in the beginning and you know, and it's the coolest thing. Like even in the booth, you're like, all right, like let's go. You know, it's the coolest thing ever. So yeah, it's special, man, getting a chance to be there for those games in general. And then for me personally, there's obviously a deep connection and a real appreciation for being able to come back and do those games in Philly.
Well, you said it in the beginning, and to end with it, it's true. You know, there were a lot of lean years, man. I can still remember, God bless his soul. I mean, God bless him, was those Buddy Ryan and Ray Rhodes after that. Not a lot of wins in January.
No. I mean, I loved those Buddy Ryan teams. They were something else. That defense was unbelievable. But you know, Randall Cunningham, you go back, all these greats. But yeah, I mean, we're in a golden era to be an Eagles fan. There's no doubt. It just, you know, this is something else what they're trying to do right now. And you know, to me, I know they poo-poo the defending champ talk. They say the team is kind of saying, you know, new year, and I get that. Yeah. But you know, for the Eagles to get a chance to go defending champs, go back to back, it's pretty cool. And you get a home game and maybe a couple home games. We'll see how it lays out.
It's going to be awesome. My brother, listen, you enjoy it, break a leg. There's nobody better. You and Tom in January at the Link is as good as it gets. Fox 4:30. Everybody's going to be watching. The whole world's watching.
You're the best, Ant. See you, brother.
Kevin Burkhardt. I love Kevin, man. You know, the true Eagle fan growing up. Right? True Eagle fan growing up. How awesome is that?
He does a great
Calling
job.
the game. He's great.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Brady fan.
I love them. I love them as a pair.
Yeah, they're great. They're great. My two favorite guys, him and Tom, and I love Aikman and Joe.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like
I love Aikman.
Yeah, so do I. They're terrific. Hey, we started the show with a video, all right, with a new mantra for our company, All City, right? We're all in different, we have 5 different markets. We continue to grow. And our new mantra is really what the company is about, the network is about, is sports over everything. And I often talk about it. Sports builds churches, is what I've said. And you see it in January at Lincoln Financial Field. You see it in October at Citizens Bank Park. You're starting to see it, right, at the Xfinity Mobile Center. Like you see it in that building that's back. It's us. It's what we love, what defines us, how we grow together, how we interact, how we love. And just keep that in mind, because sports is our happy place. It's our safe space. It's our place and our escape from the world. So just wanted you to know that.
It's the only thing that brings everyone together. Transcends religion, politics, all of it. We
Sports
all
build
gather
churches.
for sports.
Really? I mean, do you think you and I would be friends if not for sports?
No way.
I mean, you know,
Definitely not.
if not
No
for
way.
sports.
Sharing a seitan cheesesteak.
Satan cheesesteak, as you would say. With your fake pork?
We might be acquaintances.
Nah,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You have some friends who, needed something. I'd be able to find it for you.
I got plenty of that. I'm all right with that. I'm all right with that stuff. But you are a gem. I love you. We kid because we love each other. We are in overtime, OT in the city. So you're watching on any of the platforms, Xfinity, Roku, Samsung, any of our Fox, any of our platforms. Come to YouTube. Like, subscribe, do us a solid. We really appreciate it. In fact, when I was talking to a listener last night, he's like, "Man, where you at?" I'm like, PHLY, man. You gotta check it out. He's like, "Can I get in the car?" I go, "Yeah, here's what you do. Go to YouTube, right? Yeah. Use CarPlay.
Yeah.
Subscribe to it. Podcast comes right up.
Yep.
On demand. You can watch it, listen to it anytime you want.
Super easy.
Or on all the Apple Podcasts, like you name it.
Yeah.
Right? Spotify, all of it.
iHeart,
So
wherever
you can
you
always
go.
listen to it.
Yep.
But check it out, and you can watch it on demand at your leisure.
On demand. We're live, and then you can get involved with us.
With the chat.
Yeah.
Thank you, chat. We love you. I don't know. I'm feeling bullish on Jalen.
Yeah? What's his
A
passing?
Jalen game.
What's his passing yards?
Like that, I want a Jalen trifecta.
What is that exactly?
That is a Jalen Hurts, a Jalen Carter, a Jalen Phillips.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I want a Jalen trifecta and throw in a Jalix.
So passing yards for Hurts hovering right around like 215 right now.
Over.
Over 225 pays
Over.
plus 148 on Bet Parks.
OVAH.
You want to get crazy? Over 250 pays plus 285.
Over.
All right.
Over his passing yards, over his rushing yards.
I love it. That's a solid win, Stone.
All right.
Plus, also, I mean,
Do an SGP of Jalen over.
if we need
Jalen
more,
over sacks. Carter and Phillips, too.
if we need more good news, Alan Eck is referee in this game. Grew up in Pennsylvania area. We grew up an Eagles fan. The Eagles are 8-1 when Alan Eck referees, and the Niners are 3-6.
Believe in Eck.
Niners are 3-6 in this game.
I believe in Eck.
Yeah, Alan Eck. Let's go,
To
buddy.
Eck we trust. In Eck we trust. Go to Eck. Love it. Uncle Frank. VG's
boy.
delusional.
Duh. What now?
All right. It's a couple nugs.
Yeah. Let's do it.
VG's nugs.
BG's nuts, nuts. It's the time for BG's nuts, BG's nuts.
All right. So we had talked about.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
Just because we were just busting stones. Mm-hmm. But in truth, we didn't bond over sports. We bonded over
Writing.
storytelling and writing,
Yes.
which is the basis of a great friendship.
Love you, brother.
Love you.
So we had talked about the NFL and the NBA on Christmas Day. Charles Barkley was a little upset, saying the NFL should leave it to the NBA. So the ratings are out for this game, the Christmas Day. And the Cowboys Commanders drew 19.9 million, Lions Vikings 27.5 million, and Broncos Chiefs 21.1 million. The highest rated NBA games of the four, 6.7 million Spurs Thunder. Not even half. Not even
I mean,
close.
here's the problem, right? The problem is football games, particularly NFL games, are events.
Mm-hmm.
And, the basketball game, because they've devalued the regular season so much, it's not an event. They've lost the event status. When you and I were growing up, Sunday, CBS, and later on NBC, there were events.
Tommy Heinsohn.
Like, there were events.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you had, because what happened is, because everybody played the regular season, you had incredible rivalries. So Sixers Celtics in January, February, like after football, when they took over Sundays, it was awesome. Now, I applaud NBC for trying this.
I think they're doing a
gonna
good
do
job.
Sunday night basketball. You know this?
After football?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're going to try.
Why not?
Sunday night hoops.
That's late.
What do you mean?
What are you talking
After the Sunday night football game?
No.
After football
After
season.
season's
Oh,
over.
after the season. I thought you meant like after the game.
No,
I'm like,
no.
that's late.
No. So after the season's over, they're going to go into Sunday night basketball.
I think that's smart.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think it's a precursor to Monday Night Baseball's coming back.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Scientists at the DeVry University, guess a little project, they reconstructed a 3D model how Judas might have looked. And I hope you can see the screen because he looks eerily similar to someone. You see my screen? Does it look like Herbie?
Looks like Kirk.
Oh my God! Kirk Herbstreit.
He's
It
Judas.
does!
He's Judas, dude.
That is not what Judas would look like.
He's got the nice haircut,
Doesn't even
Judas.
fit the
They got a good
geographical.
barber back then.
How in the world does Judas look like that?
This is a
Like
troll
Herbie.
job. This is a troll
You're telling
job.
me Herbie.
He's
Poor
Judas.
Herbie is
Don't
Judas?
trust him, man. Don't trust him. Don't trust him.
How's that Judas?
Judas is not a mid-40s
Yeah,
white guy
I'm
from
a little suspect
America.
of DeVry University right now, and their 3D modeling. That's a pretty modern haircut.
Yeah, that's not.
All right. Well, speaking of hair,
Wow, where did you find that? Blown away. It is Herbie. Judas.
speaking of good hair,
I'm imagining like beard,
Yeah.
long hair.
yes, and more like this next nugget. Because this weekend, I don't know if you saw, one of the quarterbacks had hair issue during his press conference after the game.
Trevor Lawrence?
No,
No.
Joe Burrow.
He had hair issue?
Yeah, in a 26-second clip.
Trevor Lawrence.
clip.
The hair.
In a 26-second clip. Oh, that's all right. He might be messing with his hair. I don't know. If there's an over-under how many times he touches his hair in this 20-second clip.
Is he
26
Massimo?
might be like, yes. I got to send this to Moz. Be like, Moz, anytime your dad gives you a hair problem, just let him know you're
Dude,
Joe.
today,
you're like Joe Burrow.
Today the kid is, I hear my wife yelling, Massimo, get down here. She drives him to school.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I take Anthony early, and then I leave to come here to get here early, and she drives him to school. So she's yelling at him. He's up doing his hair, and she's like, "Get out of the bathroom! Stop doing your hair." He's got product.
He's got a bunch of product?
Oh yeah, product.
I give it to him.
Spray.
I could never get up that early to do it all. How's it look? You look good when he comes out?
He's got good hair, but
Here's Joe. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5
The long
times,
hair is a
6
bothersome.
times, 7 times.
The
8
long hair
times,
can be bothersome.
9 times. Like, get the man some product. You got to talk to Moss about getting some product. Just keep it back off his face.
Yeah.
It's the bang in the eyes. That's my biggest
Yeah.
problem.
You have it too. You
I got
have
the
the
long
long-
hair. I wear hats all the time because
Yeah.
it keeps the hair back. Or you got to like product. You got to put a lot in.
But you don't want to. You want it. You want it to go to dangle, don't you?
A little bit.
Like the dangle?
But you don't want it in the eyeballs.
You got good hair like that. You want it to dangle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just needs a little product. He's got a calic or something.
Yeah, it's Moss. Moss was just like he's messing with his hair.
So we got a new pope recently, right?
Yeah.
New pope this year. There's a trend with new popes in the
yeah?
NFL. The last 3 new popes, every time there was a pope elected, one team goes to the Super Bowl. This could be the 3rd time. It's happened twice before.
Really?
In 2005, there was a pope elected. 2013, new pope elected. Seahawks go to the Super Bowl, and now we got our new one this year.
Leo.
Yep.
Wow.
So
The Seahawks.
could be a little weird. I don't
New
understand
pope and the Seahawks?
I don't understand the connection
Seattle?
between Seattle and the new pope. But
Can I tell you, I hate Seattle.
you've been to the
I
wrong
hate
Seattle. I got to go to Seattle with you. I will take you to one place that will blow your mind and make you respect Seattle. I don't know the name of it offhand. It is the most epic bookstore I've ever been in. It's like the size of an airport hangar. It is
Wow.
amazing.
I think you're going to tell me a bar. A good-
No, I got a
like
good
an old
bar out
school
there. Oh,
brunch
Linda's.
bar. Like
Linda's
an old
my
school
place.
brunch bar.
Yeah, I
that
got
celebrates that.
Linda's. I got a shirt I wear
I'm
there.
just not a big fan of the city.
All right. I'm not a fan of Bill's Mafia these days. They irritate me. They're a little overdone for me. They try too hard, I feel like.
Wow, the baby in the table?
I do like the baby
Chrissy.
Chrissy. I do
think
like
that's
that.
kind of cool.
I like that. And I like this one. They had a grandma jump out of a pickup truck, the bed, and try and crash a table.
What's wrong with that? It's great.
No, I like this, I said.
Well, why do they irritate you?
I think they just do in general. Just the fan base irritates me in general. But I respect this grandma. She gives it her best. You would think they'd have a breakaway table for grandma, like a wrestling table.
Like the baby table. Yeah, you got to go. If you're going grandma, you got to go baby table. You got to go grandma table.
Yeah, because, hips. Hips can happen and stuff.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Yeah. I think you got to do that.
Yeah, she's probably inebriated. She should have had headwear on.
What, so grandma?
Here she goes.
Here she goes.
She's ready. She's eyeing up the table. Oh, there you go. Here it comes.
Here we go. Come on, grandma.
She's going in all wrong.
Oh, no!
AI. This is AI. That was 100% AI.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why?
Without a doubt. You can tell when she falls.
Yeah.
It's AI.
I kind
You think everything is AI?
Because everything now is AI.
No,
Do it.
it's not.
Play it again. Can you play it again?
Yeah.
I want to examine it. I think you're right.
Let me see. Let me get
So
this.
my buddy Vinny does a AI video of my buddy Boo getting beamed up
What do you mean?
to
beamed up?
aliens
Beamed up to
because there was
aliens?
an incident years
Yeah,
ago in New Orleans.
Back here, you can tell there's a lot of flickering going on right in this section.
Yeah.
That's AI.
No,
No,
way
dude.
it
You look at
felt
if you
like
look at the
that.
video, there's like
Look at that
little.
dude's face.
That's fake.
That's fake. I think you're right.
Look at the outfits that they're wearing. They're fake. Look.
Hold on. You go. Like, do it one more time. I'm going to send you this video.
Look back here, since you can see my cursor. Look in this area. It's all flickery and weird. It's altered. Just look back here.
Do the play-by-play.
Like right in this
Bending
section.
down.
Like look at those logos. Look at that.
What's the logo say?
It's all like disformed.
Say
It's,
bulls?
no,
the
it's
logo say
deformed.
bulls?
It looked deformed. Bulls? Yeah.
If it says bulls, I'll believe you.
Yeah. Yeah, the chat saying the same thing. AI.
What does chat know? Hey, chat don't know anything.
You're boomered. You're getting boomered by the AI.
Chat don't know anything. Chat.
So years ago, my buddy Boo, we were in New Orleans. I wasn't there. I wonder if I was on that trip or not. But he was inside the room, and then he wasn't. And then the next thing you know, he wakes up.
Well, oh, Boo saying he had experience?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And he wakes up, and he's in the hallway in his underwear.
In his underwear. He got proof?
Or he's on the run.
Let me load this up.
And and to this day, we say, that's the time you got abducted by aliens. So, my buddy,
Wait, where was he when this happened?
New Orleans.
Oh, yeah, we've all been abducted in New Orleans.
Right, we were
Yeah.
all, there was some kind of,
I'm loading it up.
there was
Yeah.
some kind of trip.
Who hasn't ended up in their underwear in a hallway in New
Right?
Orleans?
There was some kind of trip to New Orleans. I forget if I was on there or not. I don't know. There was like three different trips to New Orleans, and one of them Boo got abducted. And we swear he lost time. He found himself like wandering the hallways, and he was in the hallway of the hotel. He was in his bed.
All right, you ready?
And the next thing you know, so my buddy Vinny made an AI video.
Why are they cutting his hair?
There was one where he gets beamed up into the spacecraft.
Let me
I
replay
can't
it.
find the one he gets beamed up. But Vinny made another one where he gets beamed up.
Let me replay it. That was good.
They're just chopping at his hair.
The hair cutting is so funny.
We'll play it tomorrow. There's another one where he goes up into the ship. But this he wound up getting abducted, man.
Were you down there with it in New Orleans, or did you?
Yeah, I think so. I forget. I forget if I was there. There was one trip I didn't go. I'm trying to remember what it was or whatever. I was working or something. But there was one trip we went. I forget. These trips to all. We used to go all the time. Yeah. But he got abducted. I remember he got abducted. Got to be careful.
Dude, I've been to these meetings. The Pagan takes me to these UFO meetings, and there's a bunch of people swearing they've been abducted with all kinds of.
Oh yeah, man.
Dudes bring X-rays showing stuff in them and stuff.
We live near like one of the biggest sightings of UFOs. Bucks County, right in Tinicum, where I grew up, is like one of the #1 places for alien sightings.
Yeah,
I've seen some stuff when I was growing up.
This UFO meeting was packed. About 40 people. You think, what? People got X-rays showing things in them and stuff, saying it's all from alien abductions. They had good pizza, though. Uncle Oogie's pizza. That's all I remember. I was like, I'm just sitting over on the side eating pizza. These people
out of this world
pizza.
wackerdoodle
for me. But.
So really, they were
people were deadly serious about it happening.
So it was the trip I wasn't on.
Okay.
It was the Eagles Saints. That was the trip when he got abducted.
Oh, you can't tell me that there's not aliens out there. Come on. This universe, how many galaxies and
my money's
expanding.
on Boo. Like, Boo would take out an alien.
Oh, I'm sure.
He's going to take them out?
Well, Boo's got the fight Notre Dame guy on his ankle. He's tough. No, I'm serious.
Oh, I believe you. I just laughing at that video.
It's a great video. There's another one. I got to find it.
And his hair done.
By the aliens.
Just looking at
the galactic cut.
Yeah. All right. That brings us to back in the day.
Yeah, let's do it.
Back.
We're going back. We're going back. We're going back in the day with True Mark. Oh yeah!
Financial Credit Union. We're gonna get Kelly in here.
We do.
Where's Kelly been?
So there's legends, but then there's legends, and this has made Winston Churchill become, he might be top 5 legend for me. He's an important man traveling the world, negotiating peace at the time in the 1930s. So he'd come to America, but they had prohibition. He's got the prescription, which says he carried it with him at all times in America. This is to certify that the post-accident convalescence of the Honorable Winston S. Churchill necessitates the use of alcoholic spirits, especially at mealtimes. The quantity is naturally indefinite, but the minimum requirements would be 250 cubic centimeters. Signed, Dr. Otto C. Pickard. So you could get alcohol. You could get alcohol with a prescription.
And Churchill had a doctor's note.
He carried it every time he came to America. He had the doctor's note so he could drink.
Let me ask you a question though. Like, I still don't even understand to this day. How could prohibition have been passed?
I've never done the research to find out what was the landscape at the time that made them pass it.
Was it a Boardwalk Empire?
So what was going on?
It's a lot. And
was it religious based?
By the way, Peaky Blinders. I can't wait. A movie and 2 more seasons.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
I love Peaky Blinders. My 2 favorite shows are coming back. Gomorrah.
That's coming back
with a prequel. Don Savastan in 70s Naples.
You're so in on that.
Damn.
Yes.
And then Peaky, which again ends with the whole, prohibition, and he's going to ship to America. Good stuff, man.
Yeah, but why was it? Were the people out of control?
So they're saying, I just looked it up.
The Roaring 20s happened.
Yeah.
So there was a Puritan kind of movement.
Yeah. It's a moral, social, and political force. These were the forces that passed it. Because people just saw it as like this bad thing. There was a lot of domestic abuse going on.
Things. It was never like everyone had access to it. You had bootleggers, you had speakeasies. I mean, you could get it if you were looking for it.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like, like everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Religious organizations were also
No,
involved
but
in
there
it.
was there was a thought that, especially back then, because, life was hard, right? Life was miserable. So you drank
Sure.
to forget, to escape. So, there was way more imbibing back then.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sounds like now.
I don't know. I think everyone's trying to escape now.
Nah, back then, dude.
Well, now you're right. The new generation
hard,
now.
man. Dude, life was hard.
Yeah. It was simpler, but hard.
Well, the new
I
generation.
mean, way good about creature comforts now. Even in a bad way, you still got creature comforts. Back then, there's no creature comforts.
It's the gummy
It's
now.
cold or hot. Or,
The radiators back then. You got the stoves. The Franklin stoves keep you warm.
Medicine was bad. They were chopping limbs off of you.
Yeah, life
true.
expectancy's probably 32.
Exactly.
1930 was ugly.
You don't live then.
No.
It's a rough area. All right. I hope you enjoyed this meandering. That will do it for today. Guys, we love you. All right, stay tuned. Big day tomorrow.
We got Pat tomorrow?
We got Pat.
Nice.
All right. We got a whole big. We got Kevin. Kevin wanted to come. The Gandhi wanted to come on Monday. I was like, dude, it was actually Tuesday. He's like, can I come on the show? I'm like, you can always come on the show, but we had like Baldy, we had BG.
Yeah.
I go, slot you in for Thursday.
Yeah.
He's like, I got to talk about this game because he was mad about the starters.
Yeah.
So Kevin's going to be awesome.
You'll give him time to, get his head calm down because I was a little fired up
I'm
too.
feeling strong though, man. I'm feeling good about
Every day
Sunday.
I feel better. Every day I feel better.
All right. Have a great night, everybody. Go Sixes. See you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.